There we go. Hi. I love the StreamYard thing so much, but I'm still getting used to it, so bear with me. Hi, welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. Thank you for being here. I am live right now on Periscope and YouTube. Really excited about the exercise I'm going to be doing tonight, which was actually inspired by none other than my own mother. Did that rhyme? None other than my own mother. Those are my rapper moves. Anyway, hi. So if you don't know, I'm Taylor. I go live every single day, 7 days a week for 3 hours a day, and I still haven't figured out where I'm supposed to look at on this camera so that it actually looks like I'm looking at you. Does it look like I'm looking at you right now? Because if I go like this is me looking directly into the camera, but I feel like now it looks like I'm looking over the camera, which makes no sense because that's the camera. I'm staring right into it. I feel like that does look like I'm looking at it though. Don't look at you. Does it look like I'm looking at you? It used to not look like I was looking at you. Now I feel like it does. Anyway, okay. Everyone's like, stop looking at me. Don't look at me. I can see you. Please put some pants on. So Mike, first comment of the broadcast with, hey guys, Chloe comes in with a quick second comment of time to cry. Probably so. This is probably a pretty intimate exercise. This is called soul mapping, and it is all about figuring out, well, actually, I'll let my mom kind of explain. I'll let her explain it on her podcast. So this podcast episode is called The Landmark, and her podcast is called Positive Identity. So it's positive identity, breaking through ceilings of limiting attitudes and false beliefs. So it's on Anchor, it's on Spotify. I don't know if it's on other places. It probably is. She launched it somewhat recently. So I listened to it on Spotify. So I just put that as my little banner here. But check it out. I think she's putting out a new episode sometime in the next few days. So that's really exciting. So there's only 2 episodes so far, and this is the second episode. The first was kind of an introduction. She talked about me a lot in it. So of course I liked it. Now I have to remember to look here, looking here. I've been training myself to look here for a while. I don't know. I'm trying to look at my own face here on a delay. So, well, thank you, Brent. Yes, it is uterus day today, which means I got my period today, which means I'm not pregnant, which is a good thing, but also means that I had horrible cramps all day and spent a good time, like 2 hours taking a nap, and still have a little bit of cramps. Didn't feel like putting makeup on or doing my hair, so this is what you get. I put mascara and lipstick on, so that's pretty good, I would say. Anyway, thank you, Brent. Thank you, Mark, for the first Super Hearts of the broadcast. Love you, appreciate you, and your $5 monthly support came through yesterday, today, 2 days ago, in the last couple of days. I noticed that. So thank you, Mark, for being such a long-time awesome supporter of me, not only financially, also with your presence, with your thoughts, your ideas, your intellect, and your book recommendations. Even though we have a little bit different taste of books, I hope that you know that I really do love and appreciate you really genuinely. A Moment in Time with Taylor? Yes. Why, yes, it is, Kosh. Why, yes, it is. And if you want to support this channel, there's the link for that. It is in the description. Why am I scrolling through comments there? I'm acting like the comments aren't right here in front of me, so that way I don't have my arm in here. So time to cry. Me and Chloe were talking about PMS and how you get really sensitive and you cry over dumb stuff. Well, this is going to be a real true soul searching exercise. So you might cry even if you're not PMSing or it's the day that you got your period, but you never know. You might kind of explore. So my mom said, it's earlier in the podcast, so I'll tell you this part since I'm going to play a little snippet of it, of basically the questions that we're going to be going through. So get some pen and paper so you can actually write this down and explore this with us. And it's really about figuring out who you are and shining light into kind of the dark, shadowy places of yourself that maybe you haven't really thought about or looked into in a while, maybe ever, maybe kind of like boxed it away after it happened and let it stay in the past. So I did actually get a request today from one of our newest supporters. Thank you so much. I don't know if I should call you by your real name or your username. Forget what your username is. We have 2 new supporters this lovely day. Today? Yesterday? What day is it? I don't even know. So I didn't put the usernames in here. I still have to figure out what the heck I'm doing. I've been live streaming for over 3 years every single day, and I still don't know how any of it works. So thanks for loving me and being here anyway. Here, let me scroll this part down. Okay. You're your father's son. Okay, we're going to talk about that. You said you think. I actually know for sure because my dad requested a paternity test before he would pay child support. So there's one of my little shadows that I can include in my soul map, and maybe some of you have similar stories to that as well. All right. Let me take that down. All right. So yeah, we might cry. That's basically what I was getting into. Hey, Matthew. I'm not going to stand up, okay? You're lucky that I'm even sitting up because really I just want to be laying down. Berto needs a map to the nudist resort. You guys realize that my mom's probably watching this broadcast? We don't need to talk about the nudist resort. Mom, don't listen to them. Everything they say is a lie. Me and Ed did not go to a nudist resort this past weekend in Florida. That never happened. Why am I looking up there? Okay, let me go in order. Boom! First comment over on YouTube, Mark Gage. Thank you. A noodles resort would be great. A noodles resort. Noodles resort? Seriously? That sounds amazing. What about a nude noodles resort? Anyway, sometimes my friend Katie messages me and says, hey, send me nudes. And I send her a picture of noodles. Anyway. Oh, look at this one. We're going to put that one up on the screen. Thank you, Russell. He says, I am the awesomest streamer alive. I appreciate that, Russell. Thank you very, very much for the compliment. Is that an oil can to the top left of the screen? This is Next Juice. You drink it? Look how much better I am at that than every single person that called in last night. No drama from my mama. Me and my mama had a little bit of drama, and we might talk about that a little tonight. So, Mama, if you're here, you already know, so it's not going to be news to you. I don't even know if I'll talk about what I'm writing down. We'll have to see. Please put your pants on. Listen, I no longer wish to wear pants. That was the name of my broadcast the other day. I was wearing pants in that broadcast. No one knows if I'm wearing pants right now, but I no longer wish to wear pants. It doesn't mean I no longer wear pants. It just means I no longer enjoy wearing pants. They're very restrictive, and I gained 4 pounds in Florida, and my pants are now tighter than they used to be, and they're less comfortable than ever. All right. Taylor would never go to a nude resort, LOL. Yeah. Exactly what he said. What is a nudes resort? It's a resort full of noodles. Let's explore our deep feelings. What's up, Taylor's mom? Hey, Italy, ciao. Therapy session? I did actually have some therapy when I was about 15. It actually helped me so much. It's a big reason that I'm becoming a therapist myself. And I hope that if you guys have never seen a therapist, that you will go see one because it's actually, I think, really enjoyable. It's like an introspective time to look at yourself and figure out, just get to know yourself better and kind of have like this reflection of someone who's a professional who has been trained as little as possible, put their own ideas into your head and just kind of like ask questions and listen. And good listeners are really hard to come by. It's something that I still struggle with. I mean, I really am always trying to improve my listening skills. Some people say, oh, you're such a good listener. Oh my God, I just rambled on and ranted on. But I'm like, it took me years of even getting to the point where somebody could ramble to me because I would always interrupt them, so when someone says that, oh sorry, I just went on a tangent, I'm like, yes, I'm listening. Thank you, Pat, my foodie friend, for the super hearts. Appreciate you, love you. How you been? Eat anything good lately? Have any good nudes? You cry when you PMS too, Mike? It's okay, that's all right. I know you like when your comments on the screen, so there you go. Why do you hear kids? Because the kids are upstairs. Soul mapping. Yes, Johnson, that's what we're going to do today. Soul mapping. I had never heard of this before, but my mom talked about it in her most recent episode of her podcast, which is called The Landmark. And if you're like, well, this girl's taking forever, she's never going to get to the point, let me put this up so you can look it up yourself so you don't have to wait for me to get to the point. She'll probably you could probably do the entire exercise before we even start the exercise here, because that's just like the speed at which we go. I'm still not looking at the camera. And let me share my screen with you here. All right, so this is what it looks like if you are on the Spotify page. It's called Positive Identity. It's got this really cool, like, different colored painted hand. It's called, the episode that we're looking at today is called The Landmark. Positive Identity, Breaking Through Ceilings of Limiting Attitudes and False Beliefs. And why is it not on the place I want it to be on? Oh, it is. Okay, pause. Hopefully that was still okay. Is the volume on? All right. So right at about 10 minutes and 30 seconds is the part that we're going to be listening to today. We're not going to listen to the whole rest of it. I actually haven't even listened through this part yet, but it does talk about basically what we're going to be, the questions, the prompts that we're going to use to kind of create this soul map. So we'll listen to it together in just a little bit. Let me just catch up with the comments before we get there. Hey, Junior. Uterus Day, yes. Join the club. Yay, how fun. I know, right? Hey, Mike, Tattoos and Beer, what's up? It is me. I had a lot of beer in Florida this past weekend, but just enough to have a good time and not too much to get a hangover, which is the perfect amount of beer, and also enough to gain 4 pounds in 4 days. Maybe that's too much. Also, I ate a lot of food. Have you guys had those Reese's pretzels yet? It's like peanut butter and chocolate covered pretzels. Life-changing. Life-changing. You cry when you look at your bank account. Troll. Don't say that. We can do that. We should maybe talk about why do you think that is? I would love to hear from you. If you want to come in on the stream, on the video, maybe we'll do that. 4 pounds in 4 days. Now that sounds like a challenge. It wasn't. It was very effortless. You're allergic to peanuts, then do not eat that. Don't eat that. Their username is King Midnight and 4 times sucks. 4 times. Oh, thank you, Mike. That's so kind. I appreciate the compliment because I feel very bloated and irritable. So I appreciate that. There you go. Very practical guy. Hi. Let's explore our deep feelings. She did not get birthday suit at all for sure. Exactly. Maybe Trump and the Queen had a baby. Maybe, baby. Sorry, Periscope keeps freezing on me. Oh, Phoenix, I'm live. If you can hear me, I'm live on YouTube right now, too, if you want to go over there and see if it's better. Is it freezing for anybody else? Hopefully it's not on my side. It's rigged. You know what was rigged? Sonam's game show earlier when she won, but also then I won, so then it was not rigged. Hi, how are you, Pat? How you been? Pockets are essential. Pockets? I don't have pockets on the pants I'm wearing right now. Haha, I'm wearing pants. Or this shirt, so that's why I carry this backpack, which people are always like, why do you have such a big backpack? I'm like, that's my purse. Hi, Ben. How are you? Ben all the way from Canada. My mom is here. No one talk about nudes. I'm Midnight's mom, and Chloe's trying to get me to mother her, too. Chloe tried to deny that she had a foot fetish earlier in my private broadcast, and I told her that you would tell me the truth, Birdo, so please shine some light on the situation. Enlighten us. Muumuus are in my future. Okay, muumuu sounds extremely comfortable. Does anyone have one that I can wear right now? Deep thoughts with Taylor? Are you asking what my name is? And also my mom, who is here in the broadcast right now. Maybe she'll comment. Maybe she already has. I'm pretty far behind on comments. And she is the one whose podcast we're going to be listening to in just a few minutes. If you guys ever stop commenting and making me go on tangents, we'll get there. Chloe still says she doesn't have a foot fetish, but I don't believe her. You switched off the Wi-Fi to your phone service. Yeah, sometimes I have to do that too. There she is, Jazz Realtor NY. There she is. Josh says, hey, Tay's mom. Chloe says, hi, Taylor's mom. Chloe did tell Austin that she wanted to suck on his toes once in his scope. I also heard that she told him that she wants to go to a nudist resort with him. What's the best beer? I don't know. There's too many. I haven't had them all. You know, I like lots of beers. The only beer that at this moment that I do not like is Peroni. And I'm Italian. I know. It's a tragedy. It's blasphemy. Wait, what did you say? I said nothing. My dog is a great listener. Okay. Cognitive dissonance rock. Nature or nurture? We're going to get into both, actually, in this exercise. Oh, my God. Berto, I can't even say that comment. Sam Adams is pretty great. Oh, my God. Did I just catch up on comments, or did this thing just skip ahead like crazy? Yeah, no, it skipped. No freeze. Looks good. Okay, awesome. Oh, no, there's still some. I'm almost caught up. All water weight. That's actually probably true, Papa, because right before you get your period, you do get an increase in water weight and bloating. So stop with your amazing American candy. I'm sorry, Chloe. Chloe is out in Scotland. I actually have a question. So my friend Lars, some of you know Lars, he waves like this. Put it near the microphone. Or it like claps when he waves. I've been trying to perfect it. He's much better. It's very loud when he does it. But anyway, so some of you guys know Lars. He is from Denmark, and he said they have this big thing for, is it taffy? No, it's not taffy, is it? Oh my God, what even was it? Now I don't even remember what it was. Was anyone there when he was talking about it? He's a live streamer. He was streaming. He was talking about how there's stores in Denmark where they just have tons of different flavors of all this kind of certain kind of, was it a candy or something? And in America, we have none. I'll have to ask him. I'm sorry. I thought I remembered what it was. And then I realized I completely forgot the point of that story. So we're going to move on. All right, good, good, good. How did I win? Because I am hilarious. How does no one know what meat sweats are? That's what I want to know. Meat sweats? Nobody? Put a 1 in the chat if you know what a meat sweat is. I'll put a 1 in the chat. All right. Just kidding. You actually funny. Thank you. I'm not standing up. I lost 14 pounds in lockdown walking. Nice, Nix. Yeah, I've been walking a lot more too. I actually didn't take a walk today. It was very rainy today, and I was very crampy, so it was a good timing for weather. But tomorrow we're hoping to go to the beach. I don't know what meat sweats are. Thank you, Brent. Thank you. It's when you eat way too much meat and you have the meat sweats. I can't trust anyone. I'm unsubscribing. Bye. No, stop. Come back. Samuel Jackson beer. What is that? You can't hear me? Okay, I love you, boxing. I'll see you later, Gary. You can't hear me, but here, I'll do this. Bye, love you. We call it nothing. I usually eat a pound of meat a day. Doesn't make me sweat. You know what? I can't trust anyone. Hello, Donald Pippin 5. How are you? Are you a doctor? What's that picture? The hand clap wave, exactly. Chloe asked Midnight for foot pics. Pin this. Pinned. Hearing a lot of bad things about him. Who? Worst fear. Everything stays completely the same. Purgatory. Oh, that's your worst fear? Okay, this is good. Do I play piano? Not well. I can play Baby Shark. All right, I got caught up on the comments. I'm really happy right now. Maybe you need to eat 2 pounds? Probably. That's probably the solution. If you would like to experience meat sweats, there you go. All right, so in case you guys just got here, we are about to listen to my mom's podcast, episode 2, called The Landmark, and it's called Positive Identity, and it's on Anchor, and it's on Spotify, and she's here. Hopefully she can tell us if it's anywhere else, and we are going to do a soul mapping exercise, so get your pen and paper out. I do some journaling every single day, and I haven't done any yet today, so this is going to be my writing for the day. Hulk smash. So rock, paper, scissors, Hulk smash. Is that the game? Hi, Kendrick. Lots of other places. All right, awesome. Are we about to cry? We're almost certainly all about to cry together. So everyone get some tissues as well. I don't know where my tissues went. I had tissues here. Did I use them all? Worst fear is your parents forgetting you at the arcade. Wait, what? Is that on your soul map? Oh my God, we're all definitely about to cry. You hope you get to hear my voice in heaven. When are you going to be in heaven? Freaking here we go. All right. It seems like everybody's ready. Get your pen, get your paper, get your souls. Here we go. I know Ben said he doesn't have a soul, but I don't buy it. I think the kids are getting in trouble. Oh, because it's bedtime. Prepare for loud yelling very soon. Wait, we're not all crying already? I mean, I'm not crying. You're crying. All right, here we go. Wait, I wanted to share my screen with you one more time so you can see. Add to stream. All right. Do I want myself on here or just this? You can still kind of, no, you won't be able to see me. So we'll go like this. Like this. Ooh, that's better. Oh, what? This. Here we go. Here it is. Here we go. Oh, all right. Hopefully my microphone will pick it up. Here we have it.
So let's get right to the point. Who are you? Do you even know? Let's start with these things, and you might want to write them down so it gives you an idea of where we're going with the homework. You want to know where you come from, like the city, the state. Was it rural? Was it, in the city? Was it in a village? Was it in a town? Was it down south? Was it up north, east, west? Those kinds of things. Be really specific. Who are your parents? How were you raised? Did you have both of your parents? Were they loving? Were they distant from each other? Was one an introvert, one an extrovert, or both extroverts or both introverts? Or were they encouraging, uplifting, or were they demeaning and talked down to you a lot? Was there abuse? Was there verbal abuse? Abuse is not always a physical thing.
Hi, Leo.
I found that in writing my story,
I just want to say, take a quick second to say, Emily! Emily, hi, I miss you and I love you and I thought you would never come back to me. I was just having some fun with you and Danny Bruno. I'm sorry. I love you. I hope that you didn't take anything I said personally. We were just trying to be silly and have a good time because your picture's so beautiful. So I just wanted to take that chance to see you to say that. And I love you. And let me give you a special gift. We are going to do a soul mapping exercise. So the voice that you're hearing there when I'm playing that Positive Identity podcast is actually my mom. It's my mom, and she's actually in here right now. And she started a podcast recently, and I was listening to this one today, and I was like, oh, this is a good exercise. I want to do this exercise. So I had paused her podcast to do it, and then I was like, I should do it live so we can all do it together, and we can kind of like go through the exercise and the process together. But this is for Emily, who I love very much. Hello, Kitty. Looking back, I'm sure it was an idle threat because I didn't want to stop playing it. Emily's like, well, if I had some money to play, I guess I wouldn't get. Sounds great so far. Yeah, it's good, right? It's really good. And she's going to put out another episode in the next couple of days. So it happened in the scope before than after. Was he following you around, Emily? I didn't know about that. I thought we were just kind of doing our normal little trolley thing. So we're doing what's called soul mapping, Leo. I'm glad you're here. And it's basically, right now I'm just going to write down the questions as she goes through them, and then we can all kind of go through them. Let's do them like one at a time, so we can kind of, I'll ask it, I'll write it down, my answer, and you guys can put your answers in the chat, or you can write it down on your pen and paper. I can pin some things. I can put some things up here, like little comments like that. So I'm working with StreamYard. I'm going to be writing in it. Well, it's just like a regular notebook. It's just like I don't know, some mead notebook. This is what I use for journaling, though. It works. Okay, I'm already crying. Oh, I love you. What happened in the past? Do I know? Do I remember what you're talking about? I don't think so. Who are you talking about, CEO? Okay, I'll play. Yay! Your mom made this podcast. Yes, this is my mom's podcast. Yeah, you can check it out. It's called Positive Identity. I listen to it on Spotify, but she says it's pretty much everywhere. You know, she did it through Anchor, and I think you can put it out pretty much anywhere. If you listen on Anchor, you can do there. Maybe it's on like Apple's podcasts. I don't know for sure. She said it's a lot of places. Maybe Apple's podcast app. I use Castbox sometimes to listen to podcasts. Probably like iTunes. Hey, Thee. You're back. Good. I'm glad. Aw, Emily, I'm sorry. I love you. I never meant to trigger anything like that. I was just agreeing with Danny Bruno. Yeah, it is good, right? Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, let's go check it out. So actually, why don't I leave that banner up while we go listen to it again? Go here, and then here, and then here. Oops. All right, here, let's continue on.
I have come through a lot of verbal abuse, a lot of it. And it really defined a lot for me. What was your sibling status? Were you close with your brothers, your sisters? Did you have siblings? Did you not have siblings? Did you have too many siblings? What was your school experience? Were you a bully? Did you have a bully that bullied you?
I don't remember that, Emily. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Were you in the popular crowd? Were you in the pothead crowd? I don't know what they call that now. That was my day. I don't know what they call that now. The burnouts, that's what we used to call it. Were you in the jocks or the athletics? Were you in the, a cheerleader? What was your experience in school? Did you have like an amazing school life? Was it too much pressure because you were in sports? Was it, or did you, like, for me, I just played all the time. I just played outside with my friends, like, all the time. I tried to be a cheerleader. I want to say they didn't have a uniform that fit me. For some reason, that sticks in my head. I was very tall and I was small then, but I don't know. But I didn't become a cheerleader, and that could have been just an excuse not to, because I was, they used to call me Grace, for crying out loud. So the softball team was the same thing. I couldn't hit a ball to save my life. So I couldn't play softball. I remember trying to play basketball. I got hit in the face. My glasses broke in half. I was not an athletic person whatsoever. But I was the life of every party. I was very social. I was very engaging. I was fun, approachable. I wasn't one of the pretty girls. I don't think I was hideous by any stretch of the imagination, but I wasn't one of the pretty girls.
Nice new username, Midnight.
Average, but I hung out with all of them. I hung out with every crowd. It didn't matter if you were a jock, a burnout, a cheerleader, a football player. It didn't matter. I hung out with all of them. I don't know how that was possible, as cliquey as life was when back in my day. I don't know if that's still the case today, but very cliquey back in my day. And I was in every clique. It didn't matter. I just didn't let cliques stop me from having a good time. So I just pushed my way into all of them. And people found it kind of amusing. So it worked for me.
Love you, Midnight.
So what was your school experience? Did you have the friends? Did you have really good friends? Do you still have those friends? How was your childhood? Express that as a whole. Were you close with your grandparents? How about your cousins, your aunts and uncles? Did you have a tight-knit family, or was everybody kind of out of different states and you were very distant? Did you take vacations? Did you travel at all? Was your life some good and some bad? Or was it all good or all bad? I think everybody has different experiences. I always thought mine was pretty much all good, and then I wrote it down and figured that mine is a lot of good, and there was a lot of bad too. So, who do you find you've been listening to through all of those years of your childhood? Who was it that made the greatest impact on your life? Good or bad? Was there a teacher, a gym coach, a youth leader, a church leader, a grandparent, aunt, uncle, cousin? Who impacted your life the most? And what have they been feeding you?
Josh?
What have they been telling you that you chose to believe?
I'm sorry, just that thing that she just said makes me want to go, smelly cat, what are they feeding you? All right, back to the podcast.
What are those things that stuck in your mind that you've developed your life around? Was it positive, negative? Are you running your own race? Or are you running theirs? You did a lot of those movies where the father always wanted to be a football player and he blew his knee out when he was in high school, so he wasn't able to do that. So when he had kids, he pushed them to achieve his dreams, where the kids don't necessarily want the same dream, but they do it to please dad. Is that you? And who do you surround yourself with? Who did you surround yourself with, and who do you surround yourself with? Was there a lot of negativity, positivity? Were you bad to the bone, or sugary sweet, or egotistical? What was surrounding you? Do you have a lot of light in your life or a lot of darkness? How do you connect with others? Are you a giver or a taker? Are you service-oriented, others-oriented? Do you like to do things for other people? Or do you like it more when they're doing things for you? Do you react or do you respond? In other words, when somebody says something, do you kind of either blow up or get excited? Or do you respond and just have a response and have a conversation? Do you consider yourself a social extrovert or a homebody introvert?
Can you guys hear that okay?
Do you like social events, or do you prefer to be secluded at home? How do you connect with other people? Do you just go online, or do you prefer to see people in person? Do you play games? I mean, I know some of those video games. I'm not one of those video gamers. I've never really
Fortnite.
learned any of that. I think there's some
Thanks,
that you
Josh.
can be in, like you're actually having competitions with other people around the world, correct? So is that what your preference is? To be that way social, or do you prefer to be in person? What's your daily focus? Do you focus on the past and things that have happened to you? Do you make that prevalent in your life today? Your past, constantly dragging that along with you? Or is your focus on the present? Just let me get through today. I just need to get through today. I can only do one day at a time. Or do you focus more on the future? That's where I want to be. How do I get there? Do you focus on life, how you're living it today? Or do you focus on death and the fear of that?
Mm-hmm.
What motivates you? What gets you going in the morning? What gets you out of bed? What do you live to do? What keeps you up at night? What is it that makes it's just pondering through your head and you just can't get to sleep? What do you stand for? What is your imprint on the world? We talk about fingerprints and putting your imprint on the world. What is your brand? So if you had to brand yourself like a cereal or a athletic wear or whatever it is that you love, brand your life, your own personal life. What does it look like as a package? What is your brand? What do you stand for? If you have a family, what does your family stand for? What are your values? What is it? And there's 9 areas to focus on. Okay, let's go through those. So there's spirituality. What is your spiritual imprint? Do you have one? Are you a spiritual person at all? Your family has, you could have a brand for your family or your intimate relationship. Maybe you haven't had kids yet, but you have an intimate relationship with the opposite sex or the same sex, another person, your partner, your spouse, whoever that is. Do you stand for something as a unit? How about your career or your business or your job? What is your brand? And your finances. What does that look like? Package up what your finances look like. What would you call that? How does that look?
Hey, player.
Your friends, your social life. Package that. See what's your brand for that?
Oops, wrong one.
Your personal growth, your emotional growth.
Oh, wait, I missed what you just said. Sorry.
Your job.
Sorry.
What is your
replay
brand?
The last 15 seconds.
And your finances. What does that look like? Package up what your finances look like. What would you call that? How does that look? Your friends, your social life. Package that. See what's your brand for that? Your personal growth, your emotional growth. So if you had to put your emotions in a box, what would it be called? What would it look like? Service, community, giving, contributing to the world. Do you do those things? How does that look in your life?
This is actually my mom's podcast, so we are going to do a soul mapping exercise based on these questions all together.
Have that brand in your life. What does it look like?
Yeah. That's my mom right there.
We have our legacy.
Jazz realtor.
What will you leave behind? What visual will people remember? How will you be remembered? If you were to die tomorrow, how would you be remembered? And is that how you want to be remembered? Okay, so
I only count 8. Which one did I miss, Mom? So I have spirituality. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Spirituality, family and intimate relationships, career and business, finances, friends and social life, personal and emotional growth, service, community, and giving, and legacy. What will you leave behind? How will you be remembered? Which one am I missing here? You love it, Big Stepper? Thank you. Thank you. I missed that comment. Sorry. Oh, you got your wine? Oh, then you're definitely going to cry if you do this exercise with us. We keep saying that. So that's her podcast right there. Friends and social. I said that. Spirituality, family and intimate relationships, career and business, finances, friends and social life, personal emotional growth, service and community and giving, legacy, money and finances. I said that one. You maybe just type them all, or you can come in actually, Mom. You can join the stream. Fitness. Did you say that one in the podcast? Fitness. Is it on iTunes, the podcast? Mom, is it on iTunes? I'm listening on Spotify, but I assume it's on iTunes. I don't know. She said it's on lots of places, but I don't have a full list. You will definitely be ready. Definitely be remembered for Hello Kitty obsession for sure. Health and wellness. I didn't even hear any of that. How did I miss that? Whatever. Okay. I guess because I'm trying to do 10 things at once. Okay. So, yeah. Did you see this? Did I click this? If you want to join the stream, that's the link. You can do just audio or you can do audio and video. And that's really for anyone who wants to join in, but really we're going to stay on topic here. So not just like random people calling in, but if my mom wants to do, there's the link for that. Let me take this off. Actually, is there more going through this?
From your true self, you're going to grow. So you have to determine who that is. Be honest with you.
Yes. Okay. I'll listen to the rest on my own. How do you link? You see it there? StreamYard.com/K2JZ5NBGMZ. If you go on YouTube, I can actually just paste it in there and you can click it as a link because on Periscope it won't be clickable. So if you go on YouTube, you can click it or you can just type it into your browser. So I just commented on YouTube. Thanks, Leave More. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I go live every single day, 7 days a week for 3 hours a day. And I appreciate the appreciation. It's an appreciation, positive feedback cycle. Hey, Shorty. How's it going? All right. So I'm going to leave that link up a little longer in case my mom does want to come in here. And now we're going to go through this. We're going to go through this together. So if you'd like, I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to write my answers. And then I'm going to ask you can either put yours in the chat or you can write it down. If you want to actually call in and do it alongside me, we can. That could be kind of fun. I'm not even exactly sure what that means, Emily, but I quite like that. And hopefully that won't be for quite a long time because you're quite young, aren't you? All right. Let me draw a line here. All right, here we go. Let me put the date. 6/5/20. Soul map. Okay. So that's what I'm going to put on the top of my page. The date and soul map. Soul map. You ready to write? Okay. You don't see Colin. It's not Colin's. It's see the link there on the page. You might have to turn your phone like portrait so you can see it. I can put it in the chat, but you won't be able to click on it. But you just go to StreamYard.com/K2JZ5NBGMZ. And if people are going to come in, I'll put in my little headphonies here so we don't have weird echoes going on. Oh, there's somebody. There's somebody now. It's my mom. Oh, and she put her name as Mama. All right, hang on, Mom. I got to put my headphones in so I can hear you. Okay, I'm going to bring you on the stream. Can you give me a thumbs up if you're ready? Because I can't actually hear you. It's kind of weird. Like, I can't hear you until I bring you on. All right, cool. So let me take the banner down and bring her in. Yay! Hi!
Hi, baby.
Hey,
What's going on? I'm not really, camera ready, but
you look camera ready to me. It's good enough. You're ready to write notes. Okay. All right. We're gonna go through it here. So did you already do yours, Mom?
yes.
Okay. And then if you have to go at any time, you can either just hang up or just interrupt if we're like on a roll.
Okay.
We're twins. Are we twins? Yeah, I do look a lot like her, though, I think.
Thank you. That's a
Wait,
compliment.
try to move the same way that she does at the same time. Imagine that. If we were just like perfectly in sync.
I know, right?
I don't know. Can you can see the comments on here, right? On the screen?
Not on that, but I have
No,
my.
again, you should be able to see it right there. Are you on? What are you on your computer?
Yeah, I'm
So
on
maybe
the
look for
Chromebook.
something that says chat or something around on the screen, because you're supposed to be able to see all the comments right there.
I see share screen, cam, mic, stop cam, mute. I see it says private chat. Oh, live comments. There they are.
Live comments. Yay! Yeah, we do. We have the same mouth and smile. Yeah, that's the part that I always feel like I see the same. Looking good, Mom. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. This is supposed to say looking good, Mom. It kind of says goof, but it's just an autocorrect. Looking goof, Mom.
I'm going to take good. I'll go with good.
Yay, we have another person joining us here. My friend Leo. I call her Leo anyway. That's her old username. Let's see what it looks like with the three of us on here. Oh, yay, that looks nice. Hey.
Thumbs upping.
I know, I totally didn't even ask you. I just like brought you on.
I was like, oh God, are we ready?
I was doing the same thing. I'm like, wait.
Hold on.
Hi, James. All right, so the first question here for the soul mapping is, where are you from? Your city, your state, was it rural, suburban, urban, north, south, east, or west? You know, what part of the country, or whichever country you're from. And you can, so that's kind of the first part here. So I'm going to do mine. I should have like Jeopardy music playing while we do this. I was not prepared.
We'll do it for you.
Yes, perfect. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that works. Okay, so let's see.
Mama should go first because
she's already got her answers.
he's already done.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
What am I doing? Answering
you
the
can
question?
tell us if you want. If you with whatever you're comfortable with, you don't have to. You know what I mean?
What question are you asking?
Where are you from? City, state, rural, urban, north, south, east, west, etc.
I am originally from Elmira, New York, which is southern New York near Pennsylvania. And my father was he worked for the prison system.
He was in the prison.
He was in it.
So every time he got promoted, we had to move. So by the time I was 40, I lived in 42 different places. Wow. So then I didn't stop there. I just stopped counting, I guess. So I don't even know. And when I was doing my soul mapping, I only came up with 40. So there's some missing
only 40.
There's some missing pieces in there.
Interesting.
So yeah. So I'm all over New York mostly. I lived in Florida and I've lived in Massachusetts, but mostly New York, all over New York.
I was trying to think about how many times I moved in my life the other day when you had mentioned yours, but I don't really know. That is my mom, yeah.
Hello Kitty stuff. Where's our Hello Kitty stuff?
I could send you
I have
mine.
like a Hello Kitty bank somewhere, but it's not anywhere like grabbable.
Yeah, send me your list.
I will.
Okay.
Because I was trying to do that, like how old everybody was. I was trying to figure out, I might have messed some stuff up. I don't know. I was getting really confused for a little while.
I was born in Gulfport, Mississippi on a military base because my mom was like enlisted at the time.
Okay.
And then had me and then wasn't. Got discharged.
Wow, okay.
My parents got divorced when I was like 3 or 4.
Hey.
Mississippi, the area that I lived was kind of like urban, beachy area. A lot of family on both sides. Church, stuff like that.
Sorry, I'm just finishing all my moves here.
Baptist.
We have Player Pro joining the broadcast here. Hey, if James and Leo go landscape, it'll be.
What's up, guys?
Now listen.
Wait.
Your shirt
hang on.
is very close to the same color as your skin.
Hang on. Oh, it looks like he didn't have a shirt on. Chris called in last night, and it looked like he didn't have a shirt on. So Player, I just muted you for a second because there's a really bad echo coming through. So either if you turn your volume down, or maybe you had the Periscope on a second device or something, it was just kind of echoey. And then if worst case scenario, you could try headphones, but I'm going to unmute you now.
And that's called feedback, not echoey.
I'm going to unmute you now. There. And that's called feedback. It's still happening. It's still happening. Okay. You have two phones. Yeah, maybe turn the volume off of the one on Periscopes because you can hear us on the other one, right? I think. Ready?
Yeah.
That's the deal. All right, I got you.
Yeah, there it is. That sounds better. Oh, no, it's still.
Better?
Yeah, I think that's better now. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Better?
None of us have Hello Kitty stuff, Emily. I'm sorry. Yes, and then if Leo and James can turn their phone sideways, landscape will fill up the.
I dropped.
Go this way?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, see how it fits in the little.
Does this count?
All right.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, turn your phone sideways, Leo.
Okay, it's a tablet.
There you go. That works.
It's like I'm not prepared. I know. So they were all trolling me last night because every time they called in, I'm like, okay, now put your light behind your phone so we can see your face. Now go sideways. Yep. Now adjust. You know. Okay, put some headphones. Everyone's like, oh my, this is so much work.
I'm like in front of the window.
Yeah, your lighting actually looks good. Your light looks good, I think. It looked good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need like
a stand or something.
I need all these books.
Exactly, Emily, yes.
Every single one.
So mine, I didn't put just where I was from, although I guess I could. But yeah, I was born in upstate New York. I moved a bunch throughout there. So I lived with my mom. And then we moved a couple times when I lived with her. Then I moved out. I lived on my own for a couple months before I realized I couldn't afford my own rent and moved back in with my grandma. And then lived with her for a little while, then moved out on my own again. Then moved back home with her for a little while, then moved in with a boyfriend, then moved back in with her again, then moved in with the last guy I was with. Then when I left him, I went down to Florida. Actually, then I lived with my mom for like a couple weeks while I tried to find a place. Then went down to Florida and lived with Jerkface for like 2 weeks. Then found a place in Florida, moved there. Then I moved here to New Jersey with Ed. So I kind of wrote that whole little flow chart down in terms of like places and cities that I've been in my life. Because when me and my mom moved when I was younger, it was mostly within the same like cities. So I didn't write down every single address or anything, but just kind of like the cities I've been, but mostly upstate New York for me too. How about you, Player?
Right now I'm in upstate New York in Pound Ridge, but I was born and raised in the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
I was a real bad kid, so mom shipped me out to Virginia. And I finished high school and college in Virginia Tech. Came back.
She shipped you out there with who?
My aunt and then my grandma.
Okay.
Finished middle school and high school in Hampton and Newport News, Virginia. Then finished college in Blacksburg, and then came back home.
Nice.
New York is my home. So I'm in Pound Ridge. You probably have heard of it in Westchester County, New York.
Right, so not too far from the city.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, so both of us had to live with our grandma for a little while.
Yeah.
Till we figured out what to do. Are you on your own now?
I'm on my own now.
Just you, yeah. And Leo, you live with your boyfriend?
I currently live with my boyfriend. I was living with a different boyfriend. My ex-boyfriend.
The old one. Okay. I was like, wait, did I miss a switch here?
That was for like 7 years. 7 years in Green Bay, and then I went down. I stayed in Tennessee for like 4 months or so, and then I came back here and I met Brad like almost right away. And now we live together.
Hey.
Yay. But yeah, before that it was just kind of like between Mississippi and Wisconsin like 6 times.
Interesting. Mississippi and Wisconsin. How far are they from each other?
Over 1,000 miles.
Yeah, that's what I was like. They're not close, are they? I mean, I'm not great
No,
with
they're
geography.
not.
So.
No, my family moved here when I was young. So when I was like 10-ish, 9 or 10, we moved here. And then they all left. They all left, and I'm the only one left here now. Everybody else went back to Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm
it
looks
the only
like
person.
So, Mom, you were all different places in New York, or did you move states at any point?
I moved to Florida and Massachusetts as well.
Oh, okay.
But mostly.
How long? I want to know why did you leave Florida?
I was dating an alcoholic. And it didn't matter because he followed me to New York, and then I lived with him for 4 years after that. So
that crap. Or did you go back to New York because of family though? Like
yeah, family and friends
and yeah. And then so James, you went Virginia, New York. Any other states?
I have family in Georgia. I have family in Dayton, Ohio. Family in Philadelphia. So I mean, I've popped in all of those states to visit and drive through and what have you. But most of my home roots, my family is all born and bred in New York City, in the Bronx.
Okay. And you never lived in any of those states? Just
no,
visited.
Actually,
okay.
Live, mail, reside was always either Virginia or the Bronx. Okay. And now I'm in Pound Ridge.
All right. So that's,
where is that? I've never heard of that. Is that
Westchester?
Pound Ridge. Some residing, or I should say, close cities, proximity cities are Mount Kisco, Bedford. We're north. Okay, if you know White Plains.
Yeah.
In Westchester, I'm a 30-minute drive north of White Plains.
Okay, so you're still south-ish of me, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Awesome. All right, so we can probably go to the next one here. I guess in terms of what we didn't really put was that rural, suburban, urban. I always lived in the suburbs. Always. I've never lived outside of the suburbs, actually.
I said urban.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, I said urban and beachy.
Urban and beachy? Oh, between the two?
Yeah.
I think I did hear you say that. Okay, Chloe's calling in too, all the way from Scotland. Hey.
Hey.
Hi. Did you change your light?
I've got like a white screen on YouTube.
You what?
I've got a white screen on YouTube.
Oh, a white thing? Okay. Awesome. She has a bright red light, and everyone always makes fun of her when she calls in. It looks like she got it to change. All right. So, Chloe, have you always lived in Scotland? Have you always lived in the same city, or have you moved around?
No, I've always lived in Glasgow.
Wow. Our whole life. See how y'all have like these different, even just from the beginning, all having the different backgrounds. All right, so the next one, and I'm going to write my answers, and then you guys can answer out loud or in the chat. And then, so this next one is, what about your parents? Did you have both parents, step-parents? How were they with you? How was your relationship with them? How was their relationship with each other? And was there any abuse in your family dynamic? So my mom had mentioned this, and I want to say this because I studied a college course on this last semester, 2 semesters ago, which is there's physical abuse and sexual abuse, which most people are well aware that these things are abusive when somebody's physically violent with you or sexually violent with you, or even just unconsensual sexual or physical contact. And then with emotional abuse and also neglect. So those are all really considered abuse. So there's psychological and emotional abuse, which is where, you're being manipulated, or you're being verbally abused, or you're being neglected. You were ignored. You didn't get any attention or love or affection. So all those are also forms of abuse. So I wanted to kind of preface that too. And then if you guys want to think about it, if you want to write it down, if you want to share it, that's up to you.
When I spoke earlier, I mentioned that I had suffered some verbal abuse, and I just wanted to clarify that was not from my parents. that was in the alcoholic relationship that I was in for 4 years. So,
Mm.
and it was actually, I can't even say, like, he didn't like try to put me down or any of those, verbal abuse ways, but he was very controlling when he was drunk. When he was sober, he was like an awesome boyfriend, but when he was drunk, he was not so much.
Yeah.
My parents got divorced when I was like 3 or 4, and my mom remarried before I was like 5. And I had a younger brother and sister when I was like 6 and 7. So we're 6 and 7 years apart. My dad also had another child with the person that he started seeing. So I also have a half brother on my dad's side, but I lived with my mom and my stepdad and the siblings through her. And when we moved, I didn't really see my family as much anymore, like extended family or my dad or my brother or anything like that, because we were 1,000 miles away. So
Yeah.
went to visit like once a year. Definitely some not good times. Mostly verbal, some physical abuse, and some sexual. On my stepdad's side. And lots of we were very when we were kids, we were very our parents were also really strict. And I don't mean strict oh no, sometimes we got grounded. I mean we had room inspections on Fridays. We had chores to do every single day of the week.
Is this from this is from your mom? She was in the military, right?
Yeah, and my stepdad was also in the military. He got dishonorably discharged for alcohol problems.
Yeah.
But a lot of the disciplinary action came from him. And am I back?
There you are.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're here.
am I back?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yes.
Internet's
Can you
great.
hear
I
us?
lost volume for a second.
Can you hear us?
Oh,
Okay. Oh, hello?
oh no!
No, you're
Okay.
there. Can you hear us?
Here, I just hang on.
What happens?
Wait, are you there, Leo? I think she's
back.
having issues. Yeah, I'm just gonna take her down for a minute. Player, you want to go next while she troubleshoots?
Let's see. All right. Nothing sexual. No, no outwardly substance abuse. I mean, my father owned a bar in the Bronx, and we were around alcohol. I was raised around a lot of alcohol. I remember being behind the bar all the time. But I mean, nothing. We hear the stories where he was always drunk or that type of a thing. I mean, but the biggest drawback, because he was never married to my mom, and my mom pretty much raised me single, as a single parent, was just the dysfunction that you have. That dysfunction where my father wanted to be a part of our life, but only he only wanted to be a part of our life physically. He didn't want to be a part of it through the whole thing of like a marriage and a traditional family and that whole aspect. So, like I said, I was raised by my mom, and I was very hard to handle. I had to say, very impressionable as a young kid, and a lot of outside sources always influenced me, and she was, had a hard time. So that's where, I think at 13 or 14, she said, all right, that's enough. Go stay with your mom. Go stay with your aunt in Virginia and slow down from the life of the city. And she always said, you're either going to be either dead or in jail. So, get a whole new way of life. Virginia was a whole new way of life back in the 80s. I'm over 50, so I'll just age myself that way, so you'll at least know where I'm coming from. But in the 70s and the 80s, it's just it's a whole different way of life from New York City to Virginia, and anybody that lived in the South understands that. The yes ma'am, the no ma'am, being raised in school, and there's a lot of accountability, and even my aunt had a hard time with that. So then she said, all right, that's it. You're going to go to grandma. So I ended up staying with my grandma. And by that time, I adapted. One of the things that sort of made the transition for me was sports. I always loved sports. And down south, they love sports. I excelled in football, and that sort of paved my way and sort of got me focused. And my aunt at the time, my grandmother was like, okay, he looks like he's on the straight and narrow there. He's got football. He's got a program. He's going to school regularly. He's reporting, And then I came back into my mom's life. Sadly to say, my mom did pass away 3 years ago. We had an on and off relationship. It was one of those mini relationships where you miss her, and then as soon as you're on the phone with her or you see in person, you're arguing, you're fighting, you just, you're pushing each other's buttons. But, sadly, sad to say, even to this day, once your siblings or, your mom for that, once they're gone, you miss that now. Now, these are the times you wish that she was on the phone and she was arguing with you or busting your chops, breaking your balls, doing this, are you doing this, are you doing that? Even at the age I'm at, she would still do that. But my father is in Nyack, New York. I guess you're familiar with Nyack up in Rockland. And we have a, 6-month, twice a year communication where, we'll talk on the phone 15, 20 minutes. And then, I know him, I see him on Facebook, and, he sees me on Facebook. So we know we're breathing, we're alive, but, it's not day to day, it's not month to month or what have you. That's it.
Yeah, that's sad. I'm sorry that happened with her.
Yeah, mom, I really miss moms.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good reminder to everybody. If you still have your parents, I try to say this to my boyfriend and other people too. It's like you might not, right now you might not appreciate it so much the way that the relationship is or the conversations go, but when you can't have it, I think you put it really well. You're like, I don't have an argument. Like, I don't even care, as long as
exactly. Yep.
As long as I could, have them there. So I think we got everybody back here. Yay. Okay, Chloe got headphones. Awesome. Thank you. There's just a little bit of feedback. Thank you, Mom. All right. So who didn't we? I know Leah was in the middle of sharing hers. Let's let Chloe go if she wants to. Next I know a little bit about Chloe's, but I know many of you probably don't in terms of parents, your relationship with your parents, their relationship with each other, step parents, all that kind of stuff, whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Okay. So growing up, I had both parents in my life. Both of them were married. Happy. I thought they were happy. I don't really know. Then, like 2 days before my 16th birthday, my parents told me that they were going to be getting a divorce. I don't really know why. They never really told me why to this day. Then, like a couple of months after they told her that, my stepdad met my dad met my stepmum, which is kind of, I'm thinking, well, maybe he might have cheated, I don't know. Then a year after that, they both got married. Then that's when my stepdad came. And I feel like with my mum, we had like a massive argument and she kicked me out of the house. And I went to live with my dad. And I've got like step siblings and stuff like that. But
Yeah, we'll get a little bit more into siblings in the next question here. So Leo, were you, I forget where you exactly were when you got a call or something?
That was from family. That was from my cousin. I was
They're like, hey, we hear you're talking crap.
I was like, I hit ignore like 3 times. And then finally I was like, okay, fine. So I answered. And she's like, I had margaritas and I
Important
ate
stuff.
Mexican food, and now I'm drunk. And I'm like, that's really cool. I was busy.
That's funny. Are you guys ready to go to the siblings question? Did anyone not get to share something they wanted to? Okay. Oh, I didn't say mine. So mine, I was raised by her, my single mom. And I met my dad when I was 19. And I remember that pretty well because prior to that, I had talked to him on the phone. I think when I was 17, my mom basically, her old boss had hired a private investigator to track him down because we didn't really know where he was. He was in the military when she knew him, and we weren't really sure where everything was. And we ended up finding out that he basically had like a different family, which is to be expected, that his life would have continued on. It was a little weird for me to think that he was just living like a normal life, like, and I never knew him or spoke to him or anything. And I remember the time that I got this Facebook message from his wife, which was a very nice message, just reaching out and saying like, hey, if you ever want to meet your dad, like, you know, I'm his wife and I can kind of help set that up. And I was just very like, I just remember crying a lot and being very overwhelmed, and talked to my boss at the time. And, you know, he had called me for like some work call. He caught me right in like the midst of the emotion. Like me and Chloe were talking about, we're going to cry during this. I was crying during that. That's for sure. And I was just like, I just don't even know what to think or what to do. Do I want to meet him? What's it going to be like? What am I supposed to do? He's down in Florida. Am I going to go down there? I'm going to be alone. What if they're super weird? What if it's like not a good situation? Like, I don't know. It was just like a lot of emotions. And I did go down and meet him. And that was actually very healing for me because me and my mom are a lot alike. We have a lot of the same personality, you know, same smile and stuff like that. But I'm very like analytical, and I like to have a good debate. I really like to ask why. I like to dig in. I like to be like, this is what I think. I'm very opinionated. I want to have my discussion. And my dad is like that. And my mom's not really like that. She's kind of like, why do you have to like, you know, ask why so much and like need to go so far? And most of my mom's side of the family is that way. I remember one time my great aunt, who's actually now recently passed, some of you guys know, actually had a dream about her a week or two ago. It was very confusing. I remember in the dream being like, wait, like you're still alive? And her being like, yeah, like I'm back. It was very strange. You know, we were all just kind of hanging out. But it was nice to spend time with her, and even in dreamland, you know. But I remember one time I was at family dinner, and my cousin had made meatballs, and I'm not a big cook. I don't think she is either. I think most of the women in my family actually are not big cooks. We've all been pretty blessed to find men who cook. So she had made meatballs, and it's like one of the few things that I've made. And I was asking her questions about the sauce, and I was just like digging and like analyzing. Oh yeah. Oh, you use this, I use this. You know, really kind of like, oh, here's something we could talk about. And my great aunt had just said at one point, Jesus, Taylor, why do you have to overanalyze everything? And she wasn't, I don't think she was mad. She was kind of trolling me, kind of teasing me. And my cousin was like, I know, right? And I cried again. Like I'm not like somebody who cries all the time over just anything. Maybe it was hormonally related and I wasn't tracking my cycles back then. But I just remember being feeling very misunderstood by the people that I knew as my family, as my only family, you know? And I felt like that a lot throughout my life, is that like, you know, my sister used to joke, I think a lot of sisters and siblings could do this, you know, oh, you're adopted, you're so weird, you're so different, you know. And it was like, I never really felt like, oh my God, I think I am adopted. But I did feel weird and different and like misunderstood, not just by my family, but by most of the world, by my friends. Nobody really wanted to like get into things like that with me, that I also wanted to like be social with. So when I met my dad, it was a lot different. I remember distinctly having this overly long not argument, but like a discussion about whether or not giraffes could swim, which is completely irrelevant to anyone's life. No one cares whether or not a giraffe can swim. But I was gung-ho that they cannot swim, and he was like, all animals can swim, every single animal can swim. And we're like Googling it, we're looking for like proof whether or not they can or they can't, and what would happen if a giraffe tried to swim. It was like this whole thing. And I just remember being like, okay, this is where I get this from. Like, this is someone who can understand me on that level. He doesn't know a damn thing about me. He forgets my birthday half the time. We barely talk, but at least it kind of like solved that mystery to me of why I was that way. And kind of realizing the power of genetics, because he didn't raise me to be that way. I never met him until I was 19, but I was that way. And to think about the power of, someone had said earlier, nature versus nurture, where this kind of explored that to me, that nature does play some role, even in personality expression and the way that we kind of process the world. So dads, moms, if you're out there and you've never met your kids, or you haven't talked to them in a while or something, if you don't have a close relationship, if there's a bad relationship between you and the other parent, please meet your children, reach out to them, talk to them, let them spend some amount of time with you, at least maybe like once a year, or however frequently you can manage, because there could be a lot of unresolved kind of like angst about that you don't realize that could really like heal that part of them and change that for them, because it did for me.
Did your father try to reach out to you, or was it you trying to reach? No, it was you were trying to reach out to him?
No, his wife reached out to me.
Actually, you had left his name. She left his name. I don't know if you were looking him up on the computer or whatever, but it was sitting next to the computer, his name. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's trying to find her dad. So then I went and got I worked for a law firm, and we had a private investigator on staff, basically not on staff, but like on call. So I called him. He found them in half an hour. And I called her, and she was not happy about it at all.
Oh boy.
She was like, how did you get my number? This is the unlisted number. I'm like, I got skills. I'm just saying.
You're talking about his wife?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how we got there. It must have been the home number. But anyway, she wasn't really happy about it. And I explained it, and then she reached out to you.
Yeah, and that probably has a lot to do with I have half siblings.
Kitty.
And hi, Kitty.
The cat? Yeah.
Ooh, hello. Like stretching it out, flaunting it. Yeah, but one of my brothers is he's not like a 5-star citizen, so she has a little bit of probably trauma from my dad's other kids, and whether or not, and I don't even know if she knew about me, I don't know exactly how she, I think she knew about my brother, who I've never met, but he has like addiction issues and some issues of his own that he oftentimes will like kind of hit up my dad when he needs money or a place to stay. And so hearing, his child, some child that she may or may not have known about, or if she did know and was worried that we were calling to, and in a way we did end up, I don't know if you had already gotten child support at that point or not, but, then all of a sudden they're having to pay this money. And, she's probably, if you can like think about it from her perspective too, this is like very, you're just having a normal day and you get this call like, hey, you owe me 17 years of back child support. It's like, nobody was planning for that. Nobody's putting that money aside. So
I wasn't planning for that. I had no intention of asking him for money until he decided that he wasn't going to be a part of your life at that juncture. And I was like, well, then I'm going to make you pay. Because you don't know the torture you're putting your child through right now. At least you can do it.
How was that first time you met him face to face, Taylor?
It was weird.
It had to be. It had to be.
Yeah. It's like there's no good way to really like. It wasn't like some like big, some comedy, like sitcom show, like something really funny happened or anything. It was just weird and awkward. Like no one knows what to say. It's weird.
Exactly.
Like you're my dad, and like, oh, so what do you like to do? You're like getting to know someone that you feel like you should know.
Yeah.
And you were staying with him, which is even weirder. Like she went to Florida and had to stay in the same house. It wasn't like meeting him, down the street and then be able to talk for an hour and leave. It was like, I forget how long you were there, but days.
Yeah, it was fine though. Like his wife was fine, and his so my stepsister, so my stepmom's daughter, me and her got along really well, and she was really excited to have a sister
Right.
because everyone on that side of the family is boys, which is the opposite of ours. So she has like a brother, which is my half brother, and then she has like all male cousins. So she's like no girls around. So she was actually really excited, which I wasn't expecting that kind of a reception. I was kind of expecting her to be like, what the hell? Like, 'cause she was a teenager too. Yeah, like, what is this? This person's coming to our house. Like, it's, you know, but she was so nice and like warm, inviting, embracing, and that really helped a lot.
No, that's good.
So that
Yeah.
was like, yeah, that really kind of like eased the awkwardness, and she really, to me, like made that whole experience awesome. And I still love her so much. We don't talk a ton, but we get along really well. We really like to hang out when we're together. And my sister from my mom, who I knew my whole life, is 7 years older than me, so I'm actually closer in age to my stepsister, and we're into kind of the more the similar lifestyles, I would say, I guess, same music and everything. So that was pretty cool too, to meet her. So we'll get into that a little bit in the siblings. Yep, Kristen lives in South Florida. Oh, look at this. I love the two names. I am a Leo and I love unicorns. I love them. We love you too, Kristen. All right, so the next one is about, she is, yeah.
Wait.
What?
One second. Two things.
Okay.
The giraffes. I need to know.
We failed to convince each other. We both still believe the same thing we believed before we had the debate.
So no answer there. And then also, I actually met up with my dad for the first time after probably 9 years, I think, of like not seeing him and not talking to him. And this was like during high school, and I went to stay with him for the summer. Like he called one day and talked to my mom, and they were like, okay, she can go stay with you for the summer or whatever. And I just like, he showed up and I got in his car and went and stayed with him for the summer. It was really weird. And I was like, I was just coming into like sexuality stuff as well. And so like I was identifying as like bisexual, and he thought he would like try and like bond with me. And so there was like ladies on the TV that were like attractive ladies, and he's like, they're pretty good, like, you know, right? And I was like, oh please no, don't do it.
God, that's so funny because I met my dad's parents, so my grandma and grandpa on his side, for the first time, like, I don't know, a year ago or 2 years ago or something, pretty recently. And I had almost a similar kind of situation, except I'm not bisexual, I'm straight, with my grandpa, I guess I wouldn't even call him that, my dad's dad. And we were sitting I was sitting on one couch, he's sitting on the other couch. There's some commercial, and some Asian woman is on the commercial, or some show or something. And he goes, "Oh, I just love those Asian women. They're just so beautiful. Their hair is so nice." And I'm just like, what the heck?
I'm like, this is not how you bond with people.
No, like, what? Yeah, that's so funny that we had like these weird similar experiences though.
Like, I don't know if that's how you bond with boys when you're a dad, but like, I don't think that's a girl bonding thing.
I don't know.
No matter like who you're attracted to. I don't think been like, yeah, let's talk about who's hot on the TV.
No, I don't remember having me and my mom being like, oh, that guy's hot, you know? Like,
no, you just don't, because it's weird. You just keep it to yourself.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and like the age difference, you would think, you know? Wouldn't want to be interested in the same age group of people.
Think people are hot. That's weird.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. Okay, so now that we're done talking about all the awkward moments of our families, oh, we love you too, Kristen. You're awesome. Happy Pride. Is it Pride Month? I didn't know that.
It is.
Okay, well, happy Pride
Oh,
Month.
Bubbly Crown. She never met her biological parents.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, so you were adopted. Yeah, I like to see all the different backgrounds of everyone's experience. Dutchie, if you go on YouTube, it might be better for you. All right, cool. So the next one we'll do is siblings. So relationship, same kind of thing as we did with parents, is siblings. How many siblings do you have? What's your relationship? Half, step, did you fight a lot? Did you get along well? Big age differences, twins, whatever you have going on. And if my mom wants to go first, we kind of been going in that order. If you want to go, you can.
Siblings. I have 2 older brothers and a younger sister. We moved around a lot, so we were actually pretty close growing up, except for my older brother who was bipolar. So that was a little more difficult to hang with him as much as we tried. But me and my sister and my other brother are still to this day very close and hang out on a social level as well as family functions. So we had a pretty normal childhood outside of my brother being bipolar, but that really didn't take effect so much that I noticed it until he was like a senior in high school. So it wasn't prevalent in my childhood, but it is something that I had to deal with pretty significantly the rest of my life because everyone always wanted to blame it on drugs or alcohol or anger issues. And I was like, that is not the case. He actually had to go to an alcoholic's place for 30 days. And I'm like, what are you doing? He barely drinks. It's not the problem. But I couldn't get anybody to hear me. And he certainly wasn't willing to, he wasn't willing to admit to any, mental issues. He's certainly aware of those now and tries to deal with them best he can. But for the most part, I was the one dealing with it of the family because my father didn't want to be bothered with him for the most part. And my mother didn't know how to, and she's not really good at communicating with him to this day. And my sister just always tried to ignore it. And my other brother tried to stay away from him because they had a volatile relationship being brothers. So it was all me, and I got to deal with most of it and until my parents divorced later in life. And so my father is remarried, and now she mostly deals with him. So I'm very grateful for that. They're taking that off my plate. But for the most part, it was we had a decent childhood. I can't really complain.
Yeah, most of the stories I've heard, you guys seem to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And mental illness has such a stigma, and especially with old school people like my grandma, it's like she just is like, she doesn't have this understanding of it. The school system, even for us, like even probably Chloe, and she's the youngest person on this call. Sorry to put you on the spot, but like, and I don't know what the schools are like in Scotland, but they probably didn't teach a whole lot about mental health and mental illness and like how to handle people that are different mentally than you. And think about how much less so they were taught about that all the way back with when my grandma was going to school. And she, I witnessed this recently at my great aunt's funeral, or at the reception afterwards. What do you call it? And she, my uncle was having some issues, and not really that bad, I didn't think, but I'm not around it all the time, but I don't think my grandma is either. But anyway, she was like, oh, just stop. Like she was like, just relax, like just stop, just stop it. It was basically like, that was her trying to help him. It was like, just calm down and just stop. And you can't,
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the
Just
whole,
don't.
like, yeah, like just feel differently, think differently, like be different, and it's like, there's so much shame that comes with that too, is like where the person feels unaccepted, misunderstood, things that I felt, not because I had mental illness, but because I was just basically annoying with my constant questioning and stuff, and then I was like, oh, my dad's super annoying too. This is great, but like, that's a whole different, this is like something fundamental about, and it's something that he probably hasn't met a lot of people that understand him and kind of feel that same way. I don't think he's really gotten connected to support groups and stuff like that. So it's really, really tough and tricky and challenging. And he's definitely fallen into this spiral of basically self-pity that I've seen. And that's not conducive to getting social relationships going, because people don't really want to be around you when you're constantly pitying yourself. What is that thudding? Is that your headphones maybe?
Me? Yeah, I'm sorry, is that me?
It's okay. It's all right.
I gotta take these out. I was trying to
Here, I muted you for a minute just so you can like fuss around with everything. Good.
And not having to hear it, but by using the headphones, but I just can't.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear any echo on your end. Yours seems good. You have that good quality mic on there, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, no, it sounds good though. Yeah, you sound good. So what about you, James? You got siblings? Hi, Wissy.
Oh.
Shara, thank you for the super hearts. Sorry. No siblings, only child?
Shout out to all the people who have only childs.
Yes.
I have the only child syndrome.
What does that look like for you?
Middle child syndrome.
Middle child, yeah.
I mean, there were points in my life as growing up where I did want it. Probably before high school, I would say between 8th and 9th, because you're still trying to find yourself. I remember those times. You're still trying to fit in when you're going to school. You have your neighborhood friends. You're trying to fit in on who do you really want to be your friends, who do you want to hang out with, who do you don't like, and you're still trying to adapt and understand how do you ping off all these ideas and or these thoughts or these feelings. So, I struggled with it up until, like I say, high school. I'd say after 15 or 16 years old. And then after that, I didn't miss it. I reveled in it. When you're an only child, you do get a lot of the attention, everything that they always say. When you're at family gatherings or you're with friends. So there was a part of me that didn't like it and didn't say, I'm glad, because when you see other people, they always ask, where's your brother at? Or where's your sister at? I didn't have that dialect of conversation. It was just me. And, growing up and at the age I'm at where right now and the stage I'm at right now, I like it. I kind of like my time to myself. It allows me to do things that I need to do. The things that we don't get to do, because sometimes a lot of us, and I see it in other people, my coworkers and what have you, they're absorbed with their family functions and things like that. I'm the type of person that I would go to the family functions, and then when they're over, I would separate myself and then go and do what I need to do on my quote unquote calendar. But I know it probably, growing up, it probably would have had some benefits. However, I was able to, looking back on it now, differentiate from the negative, the positive. Yes, I've been lucky sometimes. I really got myself into some trouble, and there's sometimes it's like, whoa, But yeah, only child, and I don't. I'll say now also, branching off on that, I don't encourage it. I don't promote it. When you see other couples and they say they have one child, they say they have two children, or you see, one couple, they say they have one child, and say, oh, just have one child. It's just, for my situation, it's just something that just happened. My mother, after she wasn't able to quote unquote latch on to my father, she just decided just to not to have and not to pursue that quote unquote relationship, to find a husband and go that extra mile. She stayed in her career and tried to raise me the best way she can. But I like it. It's good.
Awesome. I love the positive look on it. Yeah, it doesn't always feel that way. Yeah, that's awesome. And then Leo, how about you? We all talked a little bit about our siblings, I think, so far, but we can still touch on it again.
So I have a half sister and a half brother on my mom's side, and a half brother on my dad's side. I grew up with the ones on my mom's side, but they are 6 and 7 years apart from me. And my brother on my dad's side is 5 years apart from me. So I've always been the oldest and kind of the odd man out. And the way that I grew up. Like, I grew up with my mom and my stepdad. So they were both his children while I wasn't. So it was kind of a weird thing. Like, I was kind of like felt not very close to them. But as they started to get older and stuff, I started having more in common with them. So me and my brother, he likes video games and he plays some of the same ones that I play, and he's more quiet and kind of weird. So we get along in that regard. And then my sister, I actually started doing a lot of stuff with her when she got into high school. So because I was older, I was already over like 20. So I was able to like chaperone her cheerleading trips and stuff like that.
Wow.
So it was actually really funny because I would go and it was like being a part of like the mom group, but also being a part of the teenage group. It was a really weird, like, fun time. And then she came and lived with me for a while before she finished high school, because our parents are overbearing. And like, she had like 2 jobs and was trying to finish high school, and they were still expecting her to like do a lot of things at the house that she just didn't have time or like the ability to do, while also doing homework and holding down jobs.
Yeah.
So she ended up coming to stay with me, and then she moved to Mississippi. And so we're really, really close, but I haven't seen her in like 2 years.
Wow.
So I'm actually trying to plan a trip now, and get funds together to go see her. And then my brother on my dad's side, we didn't really, like, I had been around him a few times when I was younger, because like I knew, like, I had talked to my dad and we were still in Mississippi up until I was like 9. But my brother then was like below 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't see him again, like, I think until he was probably like 13. And then that was just on like one trip. We just happened to both be in Mississippi at the same time. And then I didn't see him again until like much later. And then, so total, I haven't really, the most time I spent with him was actually when I went to the hospital, like, I think it was last year or the year before, and stayed with him because he has leukemia. And I stayed with him in the hospital for like almost 2 months. And that was a challenge. I don't know if you've ever like stayed with your siblings in a room after you, I don't know, like, it makes you want to strangle them sometimes. But but it was good. It was good. He just is a very picky eater. But yeah, so I haven't seen him since I left the hospital then, and I haven't seen my other brother in about the same amount of time, probably, because he's in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So I haven't seen him in at least a year. But I definitely love all my siblings, and I think they're all really great. We had a weird childhood growing up, and I was definitely the odd man out, and I definitely didn't like it when I was younger. I didn't like being the responsible one.
Yeah, so we have like the oldest, the middle. I was raised the youngest. I became a middle child when I was 19, but I was the youngest up until then. We have James, the only child. We have Chloe, who has step siblings, and we have James's cat.
Getting crazy back there. Look at that tail.
Now Chloe
What's that?
He said, "Look." She said, "Look at that tail."
Tail back there.
Yeah.
He's chasing. You know how you had the light and the moths hit the wind, the glass, the windshield, the
Window.
glass. Well, he's chasing them. You know, they can't get inside. I don't know what he's doing. So it's just stupid. And you
Kristen
guys
wants to
might as
know
well
you.
meet the other one. You see the other one over there?
Oh, hello.
I didn't even
He's the
see
mild
that one
one.
because it's so black.
He's the black one.
Mom, did you mute yourself or did I accidentally mute you?
I muted myself because
Okay.
there were fireworks. They're
Oh,
gone
nice.
now, but
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you guys can mute yourselves. I just want to make sure I didn't do it and you couldn't unmute yourself. Kristen wants to know your cat's names.
The gray one is Graymore.
Graymore.
Black one is Onyx.
Onyx. Ooh, that's a good one. I love Onyx.
You know,
Onyx is super.
see his eyes. All we can do is see his eyes because he's all black.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just like glowing eyes. He's like, "What do you want?"
Exactly.
Typical cat energy.
He's the laid back one. The gray one is the crazy one.
He looks young. Is the gray one young?
They're 3 years old. Both of them brothers.
They're both. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they're brothers.
Nice. So Chloe, if you're still awake, so Chloe's in Scotland, so it's like 3 a.m. for her.
It is? Wow.
She might fall asleep on the stream.
Should have let her go first.
That's crazy.
I just did it in like the order everyone called in, basically. So Chloe, you want to tell us about your siblings?
Yeah, so growing up, I was like an only child. I didn't have any siblings growing up. Then my dad and my stepmom had my half little brother called Samuel, who was 3. And my mum and my stepdad has got 3 sons, or my stepbrothers. And today my stepmom had my little sister.
Yes, just now, right? Like during this stream,
During
yes.
this stream,
Yeah, so the cool thing about StreamYard, for you guys who are watching, and maybe even those of you who are in here and didn't realize, there's actually a private chat like thing on here, so we can chat with each other while we're on here. So she actually had shared that in the private chat that her stepmom had just had a baby like during this. It's just so awesome. So her sibling count just increased.
Yeah.
That is really, really awesome.
Yeah.
So did everything go good? Like, is the baby's healthy and everything?
She's a preemie, so
yeah,
but she'll be
I thought
fine.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, how
She'll be
preemie
fine.
was she?
I don't know. I don't really know anything about that.
Okay, because when you said she was in the hospital, I was like, didn't you like just find out she was pregnant?
Mhm.
So, yeah, interesting. Well, good. I'm glad the baby's okay. Little tiny one. All right. So the next question we have.
I know what that notification was.
You do?
Yeah.
What? A picture of the baby?
No.
What?
It was in yours, wasn't it? Wasn't it your
No.
notifications?
No.
Oh.
Did you
Because
text
I got
me?
a notification at the same exact time that notification sound went off.
Oh. Was somebody going live or something?
No.
Why aren't you saying it?
There was a comment in the Animal Crossing group. And I was like, oh,
that is
no.
so funny. I don't think it was that. It wasn't me, unless somebody else is in there in here. All right. So the next one is, what was school like for you? So,
oh my God.
were you bullied? Were you a bully? Were you in a certain kind of clique? Did you have a lot of friends? Did you have trouble making friends? All that stuff. So school life. Mom?
I kind of shared mine on my podcast a little bit. I went to what I determined, I think 5 different schools. So at like kind of like player, I don't know to what degree you were a bad kid, but I was a little unruly in my 10th and 11th grade years myself. And thankfully we moved because my father got transferred, and so that basically saved my school career, because I'm not sure I would have passed. I ended up on the dean's list my senior year. So that's safe for sure. But 10th and 11th grade, I was where I am now, but in the school district. And I did a lot of skipping school, and it was all about the party for me. It was all about, taking off, going to the mountains or going to a waterfall or going to the park or something other than school. So I probably skipped at least once a week my 11th grade year. But I had a blast. I can't say that it was a bad thing, except for I was, my grades were definitely tanking for somebody that was a straight A student going into that school. It was just all about, whatever my friends wanted to do. I was a follower. I'm going. Wherever you're jumping in the truck, I'm jumping in the truck. So, but my 9th grade year, I think, was my worst year because I went to school from 1st to 8th grade in one school. And so my 9th grade year was the first time I moved when I was still in school. And I decided I was going to be the tough girl. Well, that backfired. So that didn't go very well. So I got in my first fight, and I got a fight with a girl and a guy, two girls and a guy.
Wow.
And nothing severe or significant by any stretch of the imagination, but that was my scariest year. I didn't like it. I had probably the least amount of friends that year, except for the people that lived near me, which thankfully for them, at least I had something to do after school.
Right.
That was 9th grade. So 8th grade, we had to move because of a flood. It was years after the flood, but they took our house, urban renewal. And then my girlfriend had moved south. My best friend who lived across the street from me, and my best friend who I used to call my cousin, moved south as well. So they left, and then I left, and it was just a really weird time for me that like 2 of my best friends left and I moved, and it was just like starting all over again. So it was a pretty traumatic year. But then when I moved up here, it was just a ton of fun, and I had tons of friends. I still have the friends that I met in 10th and 11th grade, I still have today. So me and Clay are in the same ballpark with age. So it's been a lot of years I've had the same friends. So I'm pretty blessed in the friend arena.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I went to college I didn't go to college till I was 30. So that doesn't count in my childhood anymore.
Yeah, that's not really school anymore, I guess. Well, yeah, it is. College is school. Yeah.
It is, but I was 30.
Yeah.
It wasn't in my youth.
Yeah. That's funny. You started college at 30?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I started at 28.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know you are definitely in the footsteps, or in the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Fall from the tree, right? I got you.
Yeah, which is crazy because you don't even know. Like I said about my dad, and then I didn't even really realize that my mom went when she was 30 till just now. So yeah, Danny, that's true. Danny's sharing some of his story here in the chat as well. I know he's had a hard time with his dad, and also with he's talking about how he had to move from one country to another one and not speak the language, and how hard that was.
Brutal.
For sure.
Yeah,
So what about you, Claire? What was school like for you? Friends, bullies, cliques?
I was a bad kid.
He doesn't want to tell us.
Okay. I was really bad. Yeah, I don't. Any cops online? No, I don't want to say. No, I was really a bad kid. I mean, I got to the point where when I was really, really, really young, in middle school, before my mom shipped me out to Virginia, I almost got expelled from school. And it was a weird thing because I was a bad kid. All the teachers would always say, he's a bad kid, he's rotten, everything. But, he's smart, he knows how to apply himself. And so I would always manipulate that. I was the kid that would do half of homework or read half of the book or do, I was that kind of a deal. I wasn't a felony kind of a bad kid, but I was always the one that always get in the mix of everything. The instigator, run around with not the crazy felony crowd, but sort of in the middle of the pack. I really knew some really bad guys, or bad kids, but I also knew the ones that just like she was said, cut school, wouldn't show up, very rude to the teachers. Um, excuse me, start a lot of fights. You know, just acting out a lot, very acting out a lot, and it all transferred down south. And down south, it was one of those type things where you either get with the program or they really just they just get rid of you. Um, in the city, you can kind of get lost being a bad kid. Um, the attendance wasn't really followed up with. Following up with the parents wasn't really followed up. You know, there were times where I wouldn't show up for school for like a week, and between hiding letters and making my mom miss calls, she wouldn't know about how bad I was until after a month in school. You know, James hasn't showed up for like 2 weeks in class or one of those type things. Things didn't kind of come together for me, like I said, until as I got old in high school. And I found football. I found my niche with what kind of crowd I wanted to stay with, and then I started, acting accordingly a little bit. Saying, you know what, I don't have to get in that much trouble. I don't have to do that. I don't need to do this. And then this is something that I want to do. So it kind of panned out. I kind of, instead of using quote unquote the dad or because my mom wasn't there at the time, I used older kids as role models. And fortunately, in Virginia, there were some good older role models that I said, you know what, those are the people that I want to follow in their footsteps. Not the ones that getting arrested or you can't find them, or those other horror stories that we always hear about. So it was a mixture of both, and looking back on it now, I escaped a few nets, and I'm here to talk about it now.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. There's always time to change. When we're kids, we don't really have morals, we don't, we
No,
just want to see how much we can get away with, how independent we can be. We're rebelling against authority. I mean, all that stuff is actually natural, healthy part of kids'
right.
development, but it can be that all that energy can be channeled into really dangerous activity. You can become an addict very quickly. You can get killed.
Yeah.
You can end up in, like you said, in juvie or something. So it's always like,
Or worse these days.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
16-year-olds in prison. I mean, what's going on with that?
I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so it's like we can always kind of look back and say, we've had a lot of close calls, but it's nice that we're here now to talk about it, like you said. Hey, Brent. Hey, Marcia. All right. So, oh God, I changed the order of the screens. Okay. So, school now, Leo?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The juice box is right in your face.
So we moved when I was like 9 from Mississippi to Wisconsin. And so like I didn't have a lot of friends starting out like 3rd, 4th grade because I had an accent. And so people made fun of that a lot and thought it was weird because kids are kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I made like a couple, like 2 or 3 friends. There was actually a girl from Ukraine who lived 2 doors down from me. So we became friends.
Nice.
And we were friends until like middle school. And then like middle school to high school, I made some different friends. I didn't really have space to like get into the type of trouble normal kids get into. Like, I think I skipped school once in like middle school, and we just stayed home and watched TV. And the people that I skipped with ended up like, one of them, their parents found out, and they like tattled on the other ones that skipped. And so I got in trouble because they told their mom told my mom, and so then I had to serve a detention or a couple detentions after school. But that was the only time that I was ever in detention. The trouble that I got in school was more like homework based. I didn't do my homework ever. Like ever.
But you graduated?
Yeah, I graduated. They put me in night school my junior year, and that still wasn't working because they still expected you to do homework. And so I got switched to a program called the GED Option 2 program, which is like taking the GED test, except they give you like these practice tests, and you go for like 3 hours in the morning to school, and you do your practices and stuff. And then you go and take the test, and you still graduate. You get a regular diploma, and you get to walk with your class and everything. So I actually graduated a semester early, and if I had had the grades that correlated with the scores on my test, I would have had high honors. But I guess, I don't know, like I wasn't on medication or anything in school. And it probably would have helped because I definitely have some attention issues, and I struggle to like focus on things and to motivate myself. So there was a lot of stuff that I struggled with mentally especially in high school. And I literally never did my homework. I was in book club, and I did like spelling bees and all kinds of other weird stuff. But I couldn't do my homework. I went to homecoming dances and stuff, but otherwise I was pretty much grounded all the time.
Wow. Because of not doing homework?
Yeah, just that, and like miscellaneous, like, oh, you failed room inspection, or like stuff like that. So, and we had, like I said, it was a very strict like childhood. So like, even if I got like a weekend where I got to go sleep over at someone's house, we were only allowed to do sleepovers on Friday nights, not on Saturday nights, because Sunday is the day for getting ready to go back to school. And on Saturdays you had to be home by like 11 a.m. So it was very like, it was just weird. I didn't do a lot of that stuff. And I think the best part of like that was like when I would go to school, I used it as my social time. So I would actually like leave home in the morning like half an hour to an hour early, because I walked to school. It was right around the corner. I would leave early, and I would just go and hang out with my friends and like chat and socialize and whatever. And that's basically what I used school for, was like my socialization, because I didn't get it otherwise unless it was like a birthday party.
Right.
With your family so strict, how did you get away with not getting your homework done?
I don't know.
Me either.
My stepdad was a truck driver for a while, and so it was just my mom who was home. And I had like when we had assignment notebooks, so elementary school and middle school, I would just sign them for my mom. So my mom didn't even know that I had them. Like I would just sign them and bring them back to school. So it says, oh, she did her stuff. And then in high school, I mean, there's nothing really for them to check until you get a report card. So all they have to go off of is, did you do your homework? Yep, sure did. Yeah, I did it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's true. I got away with that a couple times with my mom, and then eventually I think she kind of realized I wasn't doing it. I don't know if she started checking it or what the deal was, but I kind of feel like that. I know that what I used to do. So now with my stepsons, it's like, I mean, they're young now, so they still kind of need help with their homework, but also like I plan to kind of check it, and I mean, I guess if
check it and
gets
go
to
over
a
it
point
and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I want them to feel trusted, and independent and self-motivated too. But that is, I mean, if you think about it in the real world, like with your work, you know what I mean? Like your boss, like will know if you don't do your work eventually. Like there's not really a place in the world where you can get away just like not doing it and pretending like you're doing it. The whole fake it till you make it thing works sometimes with like mindset, but
Yeah.
not so much with actually physically doing the tasks. So that's
Right.
pretty cool. So Chloe, I know you're probably like about to fall asleep, but I want to hear about your school situations
So-
too. What was school like for you?
I feel like a school in the UK is completely different from America. Like, we didn't have any clubs or anything like that in our school. Our school was just like you can get A's and B's, and basically that's what they expected from you. You expected to get good grades in that school, and if you didn't, then like you'd get a bad report card. So I was that person that used to sit there and help people get good grades, and I felt really bad for them. And I got really stressed one night, and I stayed up till like 3 o'clock in the morning doing all my English homework and like math homework to get A's, and never got an A. Then, like in my last years of school, when the parents got divorced, that's when I started to get bullied because of that. My parents.
Really? Bullied because your parents got divorced? That's totally different than here.
Yeah. So that's rare there for parents to divorce? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that we have the internet so that you can see that like in the rest of the world it's not, you know what I mean? Like, and even in probably in Scotland too, it's probably not that rare necessarily, but probably more rare, you know, but there's like, because it's a small country, so there's just, even if the percentage is the same, it's just not as many people, you know, so it just doesn't seem as prevalent. But
and I like reported it to my school, never did anything about it. So
So
all
you-
my
That is
friends,
such
all my
How old were
friends
you?
started like stopped hanging around with me and stuff like that.
Oh my God, that's
How
so
old were you
weird to
again?
me.
How old were you again when your
I'm
parents?
19.
How old were when your parents divorced?
I was 15. 15 turning 16.
So your high school, you were bullied throughout high school.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy to
I'm
me.
so sorry. That stinks. And for something you had no control over.
Yeah.
This doesn't
Right, like why would that even matter? Like why would other people care about what your parents were doing, or even definitely different for sure, totally different than here for sure. So you're welcome to move here if you like. I invite you. Hey Cher. Oop, hang on, gotta sneeze. No, not Siri. Okay. So I had just written basically that I was like in elementary school. I felt like I was pretty popular, had lots of friends. And when you're in elementary school, so here's a little child psychology thing for parents and for you guys listening, in the audience, and also you guys here in the chat, in the StreamYard, is that around the age of 8 is the time that you start to compare yourself with other kids. So by the age of 8. So before that, you're kind of like you just kind of think everything you do is fine, you're like, you don't really care, you're not really worried about what other people are doing and how you measure up and how you compare. You're just kind of like going through life, and you feel pretty confident. You actually are a little bit overconfident in your skills and abilities, because mostly, if you weren't abused, a lot of times your parents are just kind of like telling you that, oh, you're so great, good job, you're so smart, you're so whatever, and you don't really have like a realistic view of your skills. And then you go to school for a few years and you still kind of aren't really paying attention, but eventually it does become to the point where you actually do start to compare yourself by the age of 8 or so. And then, hi Randy, how are you? And that I'm starting to see that with our kids a little bit. They're not quite at that age yet, but that I remember that we moved. That was the first time I moved, was in 3rd grade, which is about that age. And it was like, maybe I don't know how popular I was, by age 7, but like I felt fine. Like I had lots of friends. I always felt like it was all good. And then when I moved from a very small school. Thank you, Randy, for the super hearts, to a very, very big school, very big school. And that was like, I struggled with that at first. I was upset to be leaving what I knew, what I was comfortable with. And I was very kind of like emo about it at 8 years old. I remember crying on the bus and just being really like scared probably of change. And then I was okay. Eventually, I made friends and everything. And what I find this interesting. So I want to know also if you guys can kind of go around and tell us like the size of the schools that you went to, because in the small school, I feel like cliques are a much more real thing than in a really big school. Like when I went to that really big school, there was just so many friggin' kids there that it was like nobody, you're barely even in the same classes as these people. You don't even know half of them. Like all kind of intermingle and mix because it's just so huge. There's so much diversity and there's so many more types of people, and you find little things you have in common with more people. It's not so easy to just box and categorize people as much. At least that's what I found. I didn't feel like there were very many cliques at all in that big school. Everyone kind of just like was, you know, I remember I sat at this lunch table where I feel like it was maybe like you would categorize these people as like popular girls, and then like the kids with like green hair and like, you know, piercings and
That was my
tattoos, and we're
group.
like, yeah, we're in like
Green hair.
8th grade. Yeah, but this was like one lunch table. You know what I mean? Like it was like we were all sat together. It was like, it wasn't like there was like the freaks and the popular kids. It was like, this is just a group of people sitting together.
We
like,
definitely had cliques.
So, did you have a big school?
It was like, I would say medium. I think our graduating class was like 300 or something, 300 kids. So it was like medium. It was more than 100 kids, less than 700. I don't know.
Yeah, this school was like, I think their graduating classes are like 1,000. Would you say, Mom?
Yeah, that's
600 or 700.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I was
That
gonna say,
actually graduate.
that would be huge.
My
It's
graduating
okay,
class,
Chloe.
I was 66.
Yeah, mine was I think 90. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a
Yeah.
little teeny.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
because then I
it
moved
was
back.
like a medium.
Yeah. What about you,
medium
James?
size.
In the Bronx, it was probably a big school, right?
All big schools.
Yeah.
The middle school in Virginia was small compared to all the other schools. But yeah, my high school in Virginia was huge. Bronx schools was huge. College Virginia Tech, as you guys already know, that's huge. Yeah. So small school. Oh my God, I would probably be claustrophobic.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So then I moved back to that small school again when I was in like 8th grade, right? Kind of going into puberty. And I didn't have as much of a problem. I think because I was actually probably more like emotionally stable and like okay at that point. And then moving there, I was kind of like, okay, whatever. I know this school. I missed it. You know, I didn't want to leave it before. So I was excited to go back. I'm going to know people already. It's going to be fine. And it was not fine. It was not okay at all because it was this tiny little school now. Like, you know, going from one to the other is one thing, but going from big to small was like, it was a shock to my system because you only have so many people to choose from as friends, which I had totally taken for granted at the other school. I could be friends with 100 people easily, you know? At this school, it was like, I don't want to be friends with any of these people. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? It was also a lower, like, socioeconomic status school, so the education wasn't as good. The you know, the backgrounds of these kids, you know, they were struggling a lot more. There was more violence, there was more like fighting, and it was just different energy, you know, completely. Yeah. And well, a lot of them already knew each other because like this small school, like they all know each other. They're in their cliques. I'm like the new girl. I stand out much more like a sore thumb. Thank you, Chloe, for the super hearts. Than I did at this huge school where there's probably like 100 new kids every day. It felt like, you know, just like tons of new kids. And when I think back, the people that I really became friends with in that school that I can really even think of, I can pretty much think of like 2 girls that I was friends with, and they were both new kids. Like when I met them both, one started at the same time as me, and her locker happened to be near mine. So we became friends actually when I moved out the first time I lived with her. And then the second girl was a new girl. She was like in my Spanish class, and she was new a couple years later or something. And I still talk to her. She actually just sent $25 to my GoFundMe earlier today for my associate's degree, which was really cool. But when I think about it, like those are the only 2 that I even, you know, really talked to and was even interested in being friends with. Like I wasn't mean to anyone. I wasn't bullied. I just was very like apathetic to the school. Like I just didn't care. Like I didn't care if they liked me or not, which made me like imperceptible to bullying, like immune to it, because I wouldn't have cared if they did. I remember one time one rumor was spread about me, and it was like very like minor, and I didn't even care, and it blew over like it does in high school, you know, because I didn't care. Like I didn't, whatever, think whatever you want about me because it doesn't matter to me at all what you guys think.
You didn't give it steam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they want that reaction, you know. And when most of my friends, the boys that I dated, everything was like other schools. So my old school, and then I had a family friend, basically, that I grew up, my mom's best friend's daughter, who I grew up with, and I was friends with like her and her friends in some other schools. So I cared way too much about boys at that point in my life, and I started to become depressed. That's when I started to cut myself. I felt suicidal, and I really just like was, a lot of bad stuff kind of happened right around that time. But I went to therapy, and that helped me a ton. That's why I highly recommend everyone get therapy at some point in your life. And especially if you're dealing with any kind of feelings like that, because it can help a lot. And you don't have to go with your first therapist. You can go with the second or the third or the fifth, the one that you try out, because you'll find somebody that kind of fits with your energy and the techniques that they
helpful.
use. Yeah. And it's not always gonna be the first one you find. So don't just think, oh, I don't like therapy because I didn't like that one, you know?
Right.
Hi, Peter. Peter says hi.
Yeah, because there are definitely
Hi, Peter.
differences in how people handle different issues too. So when you're choosing somebody to walk that walk with, it has to be a good fit. It just has to be a good fit. So don't settle.
Yeah, and the person I ended up going with who was the best fit for me ended up being a psychology student. He didn't even have like license or certification to even do that, and it was really, really, really helpful. It totally healed that relationship. I kind of like got sidetracked talking about meeting my dad and stuff, but me and my mom did have some challenges around that same time when I was just having challenges in life in general, and the therapy helped our relationship a lot. And I would say our relationship now is probably the best it's ever been. I mean, maybe when I was really young, it was great too, but I don't really remember then that much. But now I'm an adult, so we can actually have adult conversations and teach each other and learn from each other and really truly appreciate each other more than like a child would. And we text each other every day how many pages we've read. We keep each other accountable with books and learning, and I feel like we're kind of on the same journey of just trying to have the best life that we can have. So it's come total 180 from back in those dark days of mine 10 years ago, which is awesome. And I'm really happy about. And I was going to say that I was blessed to not be bullied, and I was blessed to never have really been abused, even verbally. I internalized some stuff from exes, but my mom never abused me. My sister was always pretty much had my back. She was 7 years older than me, and I was never like sexually assaulted or. I guess one time I remember at a bar, some random guy grabbed my butt. I think that's happened to me twice, but in the grand scheme of things, like I think I was in a position where I felt, like I was confronting those people, and it was not okay. And I didn't call the cops, but that was the closest I got to really being assaulted. So in the grand scheme of things, on a scale from sexual assault to rape, I would say that was probably like very low on the scale, still not appropriate or acceptable. But yeah, so don't do that. Drunk guys, don't grab people unconsensually. That's not okay, and it is assault. I just like take these moments to like make these public service announcements, like anybody out there, don't sexually assault people.
Taylor's PSA.
Yeah, exactly. I just take the opportunity with the platform that I have, I guess. And I wasn't really bullied, but I did actually bully one friend growing up. One of my friends, she was a very close friend. I still keep in touch with her. She's actually broadcasted on Periscope. I love her so much. But when I was younger, I did bully her. I kind of noticed this one time when I allegedly took psychedelic mushrooms in high school. I was with her, and I remember just kind of having this realization of like, I treated you like shit for like a long time, and that's not okay. Trisha?
I was going to say, is it Trish?
Yeah. I really treated her poorly for most of the elementary school years and stuff. And she ended up having her own issues with insecurities and stuff, and I'm sure I didn't help that. So that was something that I always look back, and she hasn't in a while, but a couple times, yeah, about like succulents and doing some singing and stuff. But yeah, that's something I'll always regret probably. And it's one of those things, kind of like what James is saying, is like, I wasn't great, but now I'm better. And it's like, we can't go back and undo the things. We can apologize and try to make good on it, but we can't change what we've done. So, and we have to be willing to look at these like dark, shadowy spaces, like my mom said, and kind of acknowledge if we bullied someone or treated someone poorly or did something wrong, and be like, okay, like know that is in you, and then try to balance that with good. Do I know why I did? I think my perception was that I was going to help her to become tougher and stronger, more independent, and like less annoying. Like I really viewed it as like I'm trying to help her develop like better social skills, and but I wasn't doing it in a productive way. You know, I was mean about it. Like I would say, like, you're being so annoying right now, you know, and that was embarrassing. It wasn't just me and her privately, where I could say, hey, you know, like earlier when you did this thing, like it was kind of annoying. And like, I do think that people don't hear that kind of stuff enough, and it really can help people. So I know I'm already like contrarian in that belief anyway. I kind of tell people, you know, when you do this, it bothers me. I assume it bothers other people. If it doesn't, you can hang out with them. It bothers me. I think it's important to be direct and honest with people, but you don't do it in front of other people that they respect and admire and want to impress, like other friends or boys or whatever. And certain things, like she was kind of like a germaphobe. So I would like pretend to like sneeze on her and stuff. I'd be like, do like a fake sneeze. Like, you know, I was like teasing her unnecessarily, you know, and it was like, I was kind of trying to show her like, it's okay. Like you survived. But at the same time, I was also just kind of thought it was funny to like, basically like prey on someone who is weak. Yeah. Like I viewed her as like weak and an easy target, you know, and I used it as my own way to kind of like feel powerful, because I'm very small. I'm like a very, very tiny person. So it's not often that I feel stronger than somebody. So I think I took advantage of that back then.
The bully.
Yep. It's true.
I don't know if I would classify what you did as bullying to the degree of like something that Cleo is going through, or what's her name?
Chloe. Or Leo. There's two.
Yeah, that's right. I combine them.
Cleo.
Works for me.
So, you know, Chloe's abuse, it was more of an abusive thing, where I think that
you're being like socially ostracized.
Yours was almost a passive. It was like more passive aggressive.
We were like best friends. We hung out all the time. I don't know why she hung out with me. She shouldn't have. She should have been like, you suck.
Have you guys ever talked about it?
Yeah, we were tripping on mushrooms. We had a whole conversation about it, and I apologized, poured my heart out and stuff, and I've talked about it since.
Did she say you were mean, or did she say?
No, yeah. Oh, yeah. And Kelly, we were good friends with her as well, was like, oh, yeah, you were super mean, too. Yeah, for sure. Your school.
All right, guys, I gotta run.
Bullying. All right, James, thanks for calling in.
All right, you guys, take it easy, peace. Nice meeting you. Have a good night.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for calling. Good to meet your cats, too.
Maybe see my husband before he goes to bed.
Gray, Moore, and Onyx. All right, Mom, I love you. Thanks for coming in, and thanks for doing the podcast and inspiring this. Oh, hang on. Let me help him here. There we go. That's the first time I ever removed someone. Yes, and it's super dark there now. What's going on?
I know.
Sun
hold
went
on,
down.
look.
Ooh.
Look, I'm fixing it.
Oh, I really have to pee. Can you talk to everyone while I go pee?
Yeah, what do you want me to say to them?
Oh, here, I'll ask the next question. Let's do that. The next one is your childhood, cousins, grandparents, aunts, uncles. Did you travel a lot? Like, what was your childhood like? Which we kind of heard about, like parenting and stuff, but even like the stuff surrounding that, relationships with other family and stuff. I'm actually going to take myself off the screen, so it's all you.
Oh my God, it's just me. I'm on Next Juice's scope. I am Next Juice. So, let's see. I feel on the spot. I don't like that I'm here alone. Okay, so we traveled probably at least once a year, sometimes twice a year, to go back to Mississippi to see my family and stuff like that. And so I mean, I really looked forward to those times because I missed my family a lot. I was really close with my aunt, who is also into like art, and artistic things, stuff like that. And she actually passed away in 2006. And that had a really big like impact on my life, and made a lot of things more difficult for me. And I think really it put me in a spot where I felt more comfortable talking about my emotions, or even just like writing them down and stuff like that, or talking to my friends about them. So I didn't really grow up like until like I was 8, I was very, very close with my cousins who were her children, but not with my other aunt's kids because they weren't really around that much. But now I would say I'm closer with one of my cousins than I am with any of my other cousins. And she lives in Kentucky now. And we talk a lot. We play Animal Crossing together and do stuff like that. But I visit her when I go down for drives now because she's like a stop in between.
Wait, who is this? Cousin?
My cousin Laurel lives in Kentucky. She is 4 years younger than me, I think. Everybody's younger than me. But yeah, we definitely traveled a lot to Mississippi and back to visit family and stuff like that. Super hearts.
Oh, thank you, John, for the super hearts. How are you?
But yeah, I don't know. I love my family a lot, and I wish that I was able to see them more, especially growing up, because I feel like it created a weird distance between us now where I feel like I'm not able to bridge the gap because I don't know how to like start conversations with some of them, especially older members of my family. So like aunts and uncles and grandparents, great aunts and uncles and stuff like that. It's weird because, you know, I was moved away by my parents, and
right.
it created this like rift between me and a lot of my family, and I wasn't really able to keep up with anything because I was young. And
Right.
so a lot of it is very weird now. Like I have all of them on Facebook basically, but like we don't really talk all that much.
Yeah. Did you talk about your grandparents?
My grandma on my mom's side, and my grandpa passed away last year, the year before, I think, 2 years ago. And that sucked. He was really great. My grandma I haven't talked to in a little while, because last time I was down there, I actually went down and did a whole bunch of fundraising to help and fix up her house. And she is suffering from like dementia and stuff like that, and being manipulated by another member of the family. So we like had a falling out, and I ended up leaving, and so I haven't really talked to that side of the family. And then my dad's dad was divorced from his mom, and so, but that was like my entire life, so I always had extra grandparents. Like I've always had a whole bunch of grandparents because of everybody being divorced all the time.
Yeah.
So my dad's dad, I had a falling out with around when I was around 21 because of some sexual assault issues. And I, because of that, also lost contact with that grandma. And so I don't talk to that side of the family at all anymore because of rumors and what people believe and what they don't believe. And then my grandma on my dad's side, his mom, I still talk to her and that side of the family, and I see her whenever I go down and stuff like that. And then my stepdad's mom, I probably have talked to her the most out of anybody in the last like out of all of my grandparents in the last 2 years, she's probably been the one I've talked to the most.
And this is the stepdad you had the abuse with?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's because my mom and them live with her. So like I have contact with her because of that.
Right.
So I talk to her a lot, but otherwise, yeah, I am closer to my siblings and everything else than I am to extended family.
Yeah. Yeah. Ed's family is like that too. So I grew up in a different situation. I do want to take a quick minute to say congratulations to John Gaffney, who is having a great niece. I don't know if it's his first great niece or not. Wait, is that a great niece? Your niece's, your niece's daughter.
Niece?
Yeah. Great niece. So you're,
Or
exactly.
second cousin, however
Is
you
it?
want to.
Wait, your niece. So that would be like, if
Your niece's niece would technically be.
I would be the sister of
another cousin, technically.
I think it's second cousin. I want to say it's second cousin, isn't it? Because you would have to be, like, my great aunt was my grandma's sister.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's second cousin.
I think so too. Okay. Well, John, there you go. There's your. That's what your super hearts have paid for us to analyze your entire family tree.
We have now told you what you're having.
That's the best way to put it. We will tell you what you are having. You will not tell us. Hi.
I'll tell you right now.
This is not my mom.
This is hi. I am not her mom.
Like, you would have had to have me when you were like, I don't even know how old you are. Like,
I'm
you
28.
might be younger than me. I was gonna say you're actually younger than me. I'm her mom. I had her when I was 1. My mom was here though, a little while ago.
Oh my God.
No, heck no.
Do I need to take my hair down? Is it my hair?
Yes.
Is that it? If I just do I look less old now? Do I look?
No, you don't look old, but I do feel like
more like a mom now.
I feel like your hair is a little bit of like a mom hair.
I know. It's really bad.
I've said that to Sonam too. Sonam like cut her hair off like short.
It's really bad right now. It's like a bob.
Is this you becoming a mom right now in front of us?
It grew into this. I didn't get it cut like this. It was just it grew like this. This is not a choice.
There, he said he was gonna say you look way too young. Your sister's gonna be a grandma? You said it was your niece. Oh, maybe he meant his. I don't understand. Okay, well, congratulations on the new baby, John.
My sister's gonna be a grandma. I'm my own grandpa.
How am I my own grandpa? No, okay. Good. Oh, Mark, I'm glad you had some fun.
We could go into it, but we won't go into it.
We're not going to say. We're going to need you to send us. We're going to need you to call in on the broadcast. Come on and bring a picture of your family tree. We will analyze this free
and I would
of charge,
like you to
although
point
you already
out
paid.
Where
this baby fits into the tree.
Where your second cousin twice removed is coming in.
Twice removed. Hi, Angela. How are you? He said it's real simple. My sister is old.
That's not fair. If your sister
I feel like this still answers nothing.
Having a grandchild, that would make it your grandchild too. You don't get
no,
to
it wouldn't.
Be like.
No, he would be the great uncle if his sister was having a grandchild. Yeah, so you would be. Yeah, you are the great uncle. That's correct. That is correct. When you said your niece,
I thought he meant his niece was having a baby.
Yeah, that is what's happening. But yeah,
a niece.
His niece is having a baby. John's like, yes, girls, now you're getting it. This is true. This makes a lot of sense now.
Okay.
His knees. How are your knees, John? While we're on the subject.
I have a great aunt. She lives in California and she drinks.
And your mom or dad, whoever, is her niece or nephew. Yeah.
My dad. Yeah. Is her nephew.
Right. So that's actually correct. We were wrong.
Yeah.
Correct.
We were wrong. We won't tell you anymore what you are.
You will tell us and we will shut up. Oh, that's great. So what I was going to say is I grew up hanging out with my cousins a lot. So my cousins were somewhat close in age to me, and I was Ed's here just in time because I was going to talk about his family. Did you freeze? She's frozen. Okay, I'm going to give her a second to unfreeze. Oh, look, it's me again. Hi. So, good night. I love you so much. I know, Chloe, it is super late. Thank you for the Super Hearts, top contributor of the broadcast. I love you. Thanks for calling in, sharing with us a little bit of your story. And I hope to play Fortnite with you very, very soon. I love you. So, is she unfreezing? She's unfreezing. I think she's unfreezing. Yes. I think you're unfrozen. This is StreamYard, Peter. It's called StreamYard.com. Sure? Yeah, I see you. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. Your mom's gonna be a great grandma. Yeah, no, that sounds right.
I didn't feel frozen.
I'm just gonna trust you from here on out, John. You were frozen though.
I didn't feel frozen though.
You didn't feel frozen?
I didn't feel frozen.
Ed did good. Yeah,
Ed. I mean, looked frozen to you, but I didn't look frozen to me. I feel like I look. I think I look warm.
Oh my god. I can't. I cannot. I won the comedy game earlier, so I do like to compete with Ed on those games on Sonam's channel to see who's gonna win. I beat him last time we both played. Neither of us won, but I did beat him, and that's all that matters. All right. Yeah, Angela, you're like, oh, she didn't feel frozen. Oops, that's the wrong one.
What's a comedy
You and I am the same team. No one will want to play. I know, it's like that show, that movie Game Night. The couples that are like way too intense. No one wants to play games with them. That's me and Ed. You get cold when you freeze. Yeah. How's your temperature?
What's a comedy game?
Oh, I don't remember what it was called, but it's on Jackbox TV. You know that?
No, I don't even know what that is.
It's like Jackbox.tv. That has like Quiplash, has these different games that you guys can all play together online.
That sounds weird.
I suck at telling jokes, but I won at drawing. Yes, Angela, I love that everyone has a win in here. Ed, you won? Did you win?
I didn't play, so I don't have a win.
You need to go play. Is she still live, you guys? I feel like she's not live because you guys all came in at the same time, which makes me think she ended her broadcast.
Let's go look. I'll go look real quick.
Okay, you look. I'm going to talk about my cousins. So I grew up hanging out with my cousins a lot. Me and my sister so my mom and her sister are pretty close. They would hang out a lot, and I think it was time for them to kind of get a little break from momming and have all the kids play together because we kept each other pretty occupied and busy. And I loved that. I loved hanging out with my cousins. I definitely took it for granted because now me and all my cousins all left the state except my sister. We all went. Oh, my sister and one of my cousins, but two of my cousins went to Boston. Another one is married to a guy in the military, so she's been from California to Virginia, all over the place. And I'm in New Jersey now, and I was in Florida, so it's like we all kind of split up and we don't get to see each other very often anymore. So it's been nice to think back on the times where we used to hang out all the time, especially the cousins that were, anyway, too much information. Now, I always thought that was normal. And we have big family events. So like Thanksgiving, Christmas, we all try to get together, birthdays, weddings, probably more families are like that too. But, we all get together, like the aunts, the uncles, the grandparents, all the kids, and now the kids' kids. And I always thought that was normal. Now I'm with Ed, and even my ex, it was like very small. It was just like the immediate family, just like mom, siblings. Same thing with Ed. Like we don't really even see his sister and her kids very often. We see his parents like sometimes. It's like that's it. There's no like aunts and uncles and cousins, and I'm just like, whoa, I never even thought of myself as having like a big family because it's my mom has a couple siblings. They all have like 2 kids each. So no one really has this big family. We come together, we're like 20 people, maybe, if everybody's there. And to me, that's not that big because I'm used to it because I grew up like that. But then I realized, there's people who don't really spend a lot of time with their extended families. So I want to hear from you guys in the chat too. Like, who do you guys hang out with? Or when you grew up, like, did you grow up hang out with all your cousins, your grandparents? What kind of was your childhood like? Did you guys travel a lot? We didn't travel much, but when we did, I really loved it, especially the beach. I remember my first time going to the beach was in New Jersey. It was in Wildwood, New Jersey. I also did Point Pleasant in New Jersey, and we went to Myrtle Beach. And I remember all those trips very distinctly and vividly because I loved them so much. It's nice. Florida's better, but it's nice. Forget about it. You should make an excuse to go see that cousin.
Leo, you were still a winner. Oh, thanks.
Ed said he hung out with his Nintendo, which explains all the problems he now has in his life. Sonam beat you? Yes! That makes me so happy.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, Sonam's definitely not on. Wolf Puppy is
Okay.
live.
Oh, great. Tell everyone. Now they're all going to leave to come
sorry.
on Wolf Puppy. Wolf Puppy is not live. Don't
Just
listen to her.
kidding. She's not live.
Come on,
Don't
guys. We have
go
30
there.
more minutes, and we'll all go hang out with Wolf Puppy together. I'm just kidding. You guys can go hang out with Wolf Puppy. I get it. Not
No,
everybody
don't
wants
go.
to map their
It's
souls.
She's not even live.
It's like, why are you celebrating that? Because you were not in my broadcast. You were in Sonam's broadcast, so I'm bitter too. And I'm happy that she beat you at your own game. It's her game, but you know, she won, and I like that. I hung out with my cousin, but now my grandparents are gone. We don't see each other. Okay. Growing up, hung out a lot with my stepdad's relatives, picnics and such.
Where's
But
Mom?
not since he passed. Oh, yeah, that's something I noticed too. My mom actually, no, that's not my mom. My mom was here. You missed her. You can watch the replay. She had to go because it's getting pretty late and she wanted to hang out with her husband before bed. Don't want to know what that might mean. Now we're all bitter except Sonam because she had me in your broadcast, her broadcast, and she won. Sonam double won. That's true. That's very true. So I actually realized that when my great aunt passed away, I realized, oh my God, like we're getting to this point where our parents are going to get older and me and my cousins are going to be in charge of like gathering the family events and staying in touch, make sure our kids play together and like doing what our moms did for us our whole lives, you know, and our grandparents, like they organize everything, they host everything, they make all the food, they've done everything. And now it's like, oh my God, we're 30 and we need to like figure out how to do this. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I'm so lucky. Angela. I don't have any kids. My siblings don't have any kids. Like, there's
you
none
think
of
that's
that
lucky?
Responsibility yet. Yeah.
But it's kind of cute. Kids are cute. Especially when you don't have to birth them out of your own.
Yeah, right. They're cute yes. When you can give them back.
Yes. Chris, thank you for the super hearts. Yeah. Or like, I like my situation where it's like 50-50 custody. So I'm a stepmom. So I didn't have to actually birth them. And now we have them half the time.
I would
and
also
she has them half
consider
the time.
adopting children after the age of like 11.
Is someone yelling in the background about this?
Yeah, ignore that. It was Brad. He freaked out for a second at his game.
Oh, I thought he was mad that you were talking about adopting. Thank you, Chris, for the super hearts, and thank you for inviting.
He definitely said, right fucking behind you.
Oh, Brad. Mark says.
He's
so
playing
Angela,
Destiny, I think.
I don't know what that is. Angela said, it's sad when your grandparents are gone. We all grow distant. I hope that won't be the case. I hope that will not happen. That won't happen in our family.
This juice is getting in my eye.
I'm also very lucky to have both my grandparents alive. So I actually have all 4 of my grandparents alive, but I don't really know my dad's parents that much. I barely know him that well, but both my mom's parents, you know, all 4 grandparents are actually still living, which is really, really lucky. So I'm realizing as I do this soul mapping that I'm very lucky. I know this was supposed to be a time to look into our dark, shadowy places, but I'm a live streamer and I talk about my life so much. I already knew all this stuff, and it's just making me appreciate a lot of stuff.
I mean, we kind of looked into Brad's dark, shadowy part just now.
That's true, yeah.
Also, it makes me wonder, am I, like, really loud?
No.
It's just weird that, like, because I'm in, like, in my tablet, screaming.
I don't feel like you're loud at all. I actually feel like you were actually kind of quiet compared to the other people that were on here.
He's in the other room. He's like in the living room. And
but we couldn't hear him until that moment when he had a little mini outburst.
I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm just going to hold my tablet for now. There's only like 30 minutes left. My hand will be fine.
Yeah. This isn't Periscope. Well, I mean, we're on Periscope, but this is actually StreamYard. StreamYard is the way that we're doing this. So if you guys want to come on, tell me, and I'll probably say no because there's only 27 minutes left, and we're trying to get through some more questions, which is we're never going to get through this whole thing. We're going to have to do soul mapping
Let's
part
do
2
them real
tomorrow.
fast.
It's not going to. I have to write them down. Okay, who had a big impact on your life? Did you build your life around them? Whose dream are you pursuing or living? Is it your own? Is it someone else's? And big impact could be positive. It also could be negative, right? This isn't necessarily someone who inspired you and motivated you to do great. This could be somebody who impacted you in a really negative, abusive, harmful way, you know? All right, love you, Mark.
I feel like there are a couple of people. I would say like my two big ones are probably my aunt who passed away in 2006. She was really artistic. She was like my favorite person. I don't know how to turn this. Where's my face? She was like my favorite person, and she was artistic, and we just had a lot of stuff in common. And she was a really like strong person. She had lupus and a couple of other things, and you know, it heavily affected her life, but she did her best not to like let it. And it really didn't like stifle her creativity or anything like that. And I feel like she still was a very active like person in like every sense of the word. And when she passed away, I feel like even though like going into high school and stuff like that, I struggled a lot with like depression and like suicidal thoughts and like cutting and stuff like that. But I think that like thinking about her and the fact that she didn't get to finish living her life is what helped like keep me going, was like to be like in honor of or in her memory, like to not like be disrespectful to that, basically.
I like that.
And then I would say that my mom and my stepdad definitely both negatively played a big part on my life. And I love my mom, don't get me wrong, but they were a big negative force in my life for a really long time. And I think there are some things that it definitely made difficult. But in a lot of ways, I think it made me a tougher person and made it easier for me to recognize when I need to cut certain people out of my life and when I can allow people to stay in my life. And it also helped me practice a lot of forgiveness, which I think is something that a lot of people struggle with.
Absolutely, yes.
And so I feel like forgiveness wise, I'm like a champion.
That's awesome. I love that. Do you think John is trolling us with this comment?
I'm keeping contact with my second cousins too, 56 of them. What?
Because we were making this whole thing about second cousins earlier, and I don't know if he's being honest anymore. I told him I would trust him, but obviously that's not the case.
56 of them?
That's a lot.
Now, by keeping in contact with them, do you mean your Facebook friends?
Thank you for the super hearts, Angela.
I have 2,000 Facebook friends. Like, I don't care if you're Facebook friends. That doesn't mean you're keeping in contact with them. I don't even... Half those people don't even show up on my Facebook newsfeed.
I know. I don't like that, actually. But the algorithms on Instagram and Facebook, and I think Twitter probably uses it too. I just want the most recent thing to come up on the top of the feed. Like, whoever it was, if I'm friends with them or following them, that's what I want. Yeah, I want the most recent thing at the top. Because then I'm going to see the people that I want to unfollow.
Like, I mean, you liked this yesterday, so you probably...
Like, if I like one thing, then all I see is them. Like, I don't want to see just this one person.
Six people posted the same picture, so I get to see that 6 times.
John, my email is nextjuice@gmail.com. I will be looking for your family tree.
And I will be looking for it to be forwarded to my text messages.
Can you send it to me in a template form so then I can erase your family information and fill it with my own? Because I've been wanting to build a family tree and I don't know the best template to use. Thank you.
Why don't you just build your own?
Because I don't know how.
But where do you want to start?
I don't know. With my grandparents.
The base of your family tree?
The base? Well, I guess my stepsons would be like the bottom, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, who's the trunk?
The trunk?
Yeah. Are you the trunk? Or are the kids the trunk?
There are no trunks.
Or are the kids the trunk? It's
There's
a tree.
No
There's a trunk.
No, it's a tree is more of a metaphor.
There's a trunk. And
There's
then there
no
are
trunk.
branches.
But the trunk. Okay. Oh, you're saying that's the trunk and you build up like an upside down tree? Okay. Yeah. That's still not a trunk. That's the top of the tree, but it's upside down. That would be my grandparents, my grandma, my grandpa. But then I'm gonna go back too. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go. I mean, I already know like this way, so I'm gonna go backwards.
Right. So
I guess
who's the middle?
My grandparents.
Like,
Yes.
so
Also, some DNA
the base
samples.
of where you're gonna start is your grandparents. They're the trunk, because then you go down into the roots and up into the branches, but they're the smallest section of the tree, the thinnest part.
I'm not sure because they have brothers and sisters.
They're still probably the thinnest part.
I don't know. They have a lot more brothers and sisters than I do.
Yeah, but do those brothers and sisters have children?
Some of them. I should probably know the answer to this, but I don't know. Okay, so I guess my family is kind of big because there's so many times that people are like, oh yeah, you know, whoever. And I'm like, I have no idea who that is.
Who are you talking about?
Like, they're like, oh, you know your cousin so-and-so. I'm like, no, oh, you know your uncle such. No, I don't know who that is.
That happens to me too, except it's like, so they'll be like, it's somebody on like their dad's side. So like, I don't know your dad's family. I only know your mom's family because that's my family.
Right.
So they'd be like, oh, you know, Granny, whatever. And I'm like,
Uncle
no.
Jim. You're like,
who?
and I see them.
That's
at,
your
like,
grandma, not my grandma. I don't know
or
that
something.
grandma.
I'm like, I know the face. I don't know his name. Don't know who he is, but I've seen him. I know he's in my family.
Were they at the family reunion? Does it matter? I wasn't there.
Dude, our family reunion was massive. We had a family reunion.
I haven't been to a family reunion in
it was
probably 15 years.
Okay, that's a long time. We don't really have them very often, but we had one, I don't know how many years ago. Maybe it was that long ago. But no, I don't think it was that long ago. But there were so many freaking people there, and I was like, what
and I'm like, who are these people? Like, which family is this? When does the family start being a different family?
It was the biggest family I've ever seen. Okay,
and then like you have to be like aware of things. Like my mom was like, don't eat that pie because this lady brought it, and one time we saw her drop the pie and then she brought it anyway. So don't eat her pies because she probably dropped them and picked them back up and scooped them back into the pie.
That's ridiculous. What is that about families? Because my family does the same thing. If you ever did like one thing, you ever made one mistake, like you now do that every time.
Do it.
That was one time.
Okay.
Oh my gosh,
like, don't wave to her. Don't let her see you.
Don't hug her.
If she sees you, she'll see me, and I don't want her saying my name.
That's really cool, Angela. Yeah, I've been considering doing something like that. Your tree keeps growing, right? It's a branch. Hold on, be right back. Oh my God, are you getting the DNA samples right now? All right. So people that influenced me. Actually, interesting. I had a hard time thinking of people that really had a big impact on me. My mom, obviously, right? I think our parents always have the biggest impact on us. That therapist that I met with for a few months when I was 15, that had a big impact on kind of healing a lot of stuff with my relationship with my mom. When I met my dad, like I said, the impact that had on me. But then outside of that, my physics teacher, I remember he used to teach us. I actually dropped that class, so I only had his class for like a month or something. There's a whole big ordeal about dropping that class, but he used to teach yoga. Like when the class was getting like very distracted and like not paying attention and kind of talking a lot, and he would get frustrated. He'd be like, all right, everybody to the lab tables. And we'd all get up on the lab tables. We'd all do yoga. And I'm now a yoga teacher. So I think that definitely had some bigger impact on me than I appreciated at the time. And I do remember thinking he was very wise. He was very like enlightened when I was younger. And I thought that was really cool. I was definitely like attracted to that vibe, you know, not like attracted to him. He's like an old man, but like I was like, okay, I want more of that. I want to hear more of this.
Movie?
Like, no, this like wisdom, a kind of more ancient wisdom. You know, I hadn't really been exposed to that. My family was predominantly Christian growing up. Everybody was a Christian. My mom was the biggest Christian of them all. I know that sounds like a bigger Christian. She was like evangelical, like more modern church kind of goer. And she was very passionate about it and very serious about it. We went to, what did they call it? Bible study? No, not Bible study. Sunday school. Went to Sunday school, then like youth groups and youth group trips. She ended up working actually for a Christian group for a long time. So that was her full-time job. So it was like our whole life. She would volunteer a lot at that stuff. I was her kid. I had to go. So, we'd go to Christian music festivals. Like everything was Christian. So to hear someone talking about more like Buddhist concepts was really interesting to me because I'd never heard that before. I'd heard of it, but I didn't really know anyone who kind of lived that type of a life. So I thought that was pretty cool. My yoga teacher then afterwards, because I became a
What
yoga
if I
teacher.
flip this over?
And then my old boss, I think, probably had a pretty good impact on me, because that was when I went and started running my own office. For Cutco and Vector Marketing. I ran my own Cutco office. So I felt like he had a lot of like confidence in me. He taught me a lot of management skills, marketing skills. The program taught me more than he probably did directly, but that did have a big impact on me, that he kind of fostered me to become a manager and do pretty well. And still hold the record for that location, which was 10 years ago. Nobody's beat the amount of money that we generated out of that office, which is awesome. I'm very proud of that. So that had an impact on me too, because it got me down the entrepreneurial track and realizing that I can do this and I can do a lot on my own. I can live out on my own around a bunch of people that I don't know at all. I moved to a whole different area. I can run my own office. I can hire my own receptionist. I can train my own. I can do interviews and training and foster these. They weren't employees, they were contractors, but you know what I mean? I can do this. And that was really important for me to learn, because now I run my own business here as a live streamer, and that gave me a lot of the skills and organization that I needed to do that. So that for sure. But then outside of that would be books. Pretty much a lot of authors and people who've written books, and even like online influencers, have definitely impacted me. I would say Tai Lopez is a big one. I know he's not the most popular one, but he is the reason that massive bookshelf even exists, and why I read so many books, which is a big part of my life, and I think my success too. So there we go. That would be the next talk show. Oh, I even done that DNA thing and a lot. Oh, wait, look. Oh, about Ancestry.com and stuff. You're very lightened. What does that mean? You're lightened. What does this mean? Berto, I want to say something because you're still here. I don't think I've pinned a single one of your comments to the screen. I just want to say. Thank you, Angela. I love you. I appreciate that. Because you're a troll.
Because you're a troll.
All right, next question.
Moving on.
Okay, so what type of energy and people were around you as you went through life? So in your past, it can be recent past even. Negativity, positivity, what kind of stuff was going on?
I feel like both.
Right.
I don't know. I don't feel like there was any more one than the other. And I don't know if I've really been like, I don't feel like either one of them really like stood out more than the other one. Like, I feel like my mom is very like, we'll just move on.
Mm-hmm.
And like, very like, well, forget whatever happened and whatever. And then my dad is very like, I don't know, he's like found God recently, so he like is really in a weird spot. My sister got like my mom's emotional state where she just is like, yeah, whatever. So they're kind of like in the middle, I guess. I don't know. They're not negative, but they're not really like super positive either. I feel like the past little bit, like starting to date Brad has been weird compared to who I was seeing before, positively and negatively, because I feel like Brad has been a lot more positive about like me and what I'm doing and like what I want to do and where I want to go and things like that, where I feel like before the person I was with was very like, well, we're not going to get there because of this, and we're not going to get there because of this, instead of focusing on, you know, like the things that were going well, I guess.
Right. Some more negative, definitely.
Yeah.
Sounds like. Yeah.
Besides when he's doing what he's doing right now, you know.
Yeah, well, we all take video games a little too seriously. If you play video games, you probably get a little too into it, that's for sure. Yeah, I definitely, my whole body gets involved in it. I've been playing Fortnite lately, and I'm like, be playing it, and then I'm like I'm like about to kill someone, and then they kill me, and I'm like, you know, like you're just like released from your body.
Yeah.
I'm
like, please don't break the controller.
Yeah, it sucks you in. Yeah, it is. And some people use it as kind of like an escape, which I always think it's important to notice. If you are trying to use something as an escape, what are you trying to escape from? And is there any way to change that so that you don't feel like you need to escape from it?
And why are you choosing to escape to that? Especially if it's something that makes you angry sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you really
Actually,
escaping
people with
to something
autism
better?
sometimes have a really hard time understanding that other people wanting to, when they're interested in things other than what they're interested in. Yeah.
Right.
You want to play it? Angela, you should, dude. It's free. Fortnite, it's free and on all systems. You can even play it on your phone, although it's probably really hard to play on your phone and actually do well.
Probably really annoying.
Yeah, because it's all like touchscreen. You know, I don't even know how you would do that, but I play on Nintendo Switch. You can play on your PC. You can play on Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. So, yeah. I mean, you could try it on your phone and see. If you have a tablet, that's probably better, but even then it's, you could try
Positive and negative influences. Your turn.
Yeah, so mine have been mostly positive. You know, it's very Christian, but very like, I mean, I don't like Christianity now. I'm an agnostic now, but at the time it was very positive. You know what I mean? It wasn't really bad.
Yeah.
It did give me some complexes about like, you're not supposed to have sex until you get married, so my whole relationship with my own sexuality, my own body, my own desires for that kind of stuff, when I came into that age of being curious about that and feeling attracted to boys and wanting to be physical and not knowing where to draw the line, at what part, you're allowed to kiss, but can someone touch my boobs? You know what I mean? Like these things this is real. Like this
when
is
does
really
it
what
start being
it
sex?
feels like. Right, exactly. Like what is sex and what isn't? And I've come into contact with a lot of people who are very torn and it's somewhat divisive on like where that falls. So that was hard for me. I didn't really feel like I could express anything like that to my mom because of her religious beliefs. I didn't want her to be ashamed or whatever. We didn't really have like an open relationship like that where we talked about that kind of stuff, open communication at all. But overall, it was generally positive, with the exception of money. I do think that her relationship towards money was fairly negative, and it definitely caused mine to be that way as well. Kind of resented like bills and feeling like we could never get ahead and never had enough money for the life and things that we wanted. I remember many times throughout my childhood wanting something and then being told that, well, we can't afford that. We don't have enough money for that. Wanting to take trips and go traveling and not being able to do that because of money. So this very likely had a big impact on me in terms of my now desire to always make sure I have more than enough money to live the life that I want to live, and still having this like scarcity mindset around it where even though I have more money than I've ever had in my life, it's still like I'm still worried. Like anytime that like say my income, thank you Angela for the super hearts, like anytime my income decreases at all, it's like like I feel that anxiety and pressure that she felt so much of her life and may still deal with, because it's just in there. It's like deeply embedded in me that it's this fear and this worry that money kind of can limit you so much. And I saw it limit my mom and us when I was growing up, and I just don't want to be limited. It's like the one thing that limits. Like I feel like I'm very smart, I have a lot of energy, I'm a hard worker, I like working, I have all this ability, but then if I don't have enough money, like it doesn't matter, it's almost all for naught.
Right.
So I think this app, Periscope, is a really, really cool app because it's free and it brings people together from all around the world, and you can really enjoy it without having to have any money for it, which is awesome. And I love that it opens up monetary channels between people. I mean, now this is my full-time job. I didn't think that was going to be the case. It's awesome that I have a source of a way to do what I love to do and then also generate income. I think that's amazing and powerful, and I really, really want to figure out a way to help other people to find that for them, because not everybody should be a live streamer. Not everybody's very good at this, but they're good at something. There's something for them that they enjoy doing that they would pretty much do for free, and therefore they will generate income from it, if you're actually good at it. That's the reality. A lot of people think, oh, this looks so easy, I'm just going to go live. And you see, like when people call in, like on video on here, it's like, okay, turn your phone this way, get your light over here, wear headphones, you should have a nice microphone, make sure you have the chat going, make sure you see this. There's a lot to it, but I think because I love doing it so much and I've done it for a long time, I make it look easy. I would like to think that I make it look easy because that means I'm doing a good job at it. So
Right.
people will think it's, oh yeah, I'll just do that and it'll be easy and I'll just get money. You know, it's like, well, no, not everyone's supposed to be a live streamer. But I do find it to be pretty easy because I love it, you know. And for Leo, it would be like probably doing like boudoir photography. Last I checked with her anyway, this was something she loved to do. This is something she enjoys. It energizes her. It's like she would do it for fun, you know. Like if she had all the money in the world, she'd probably just do it and would not worry about money, and not even probably need to charge for it. You know, it would be like the thing that she would do because she likes to do it. Yeah, exactly. So, but
and not just because they're naked women.
But like, you know, if someone asked me to do that, I would be like, I don't know the first thing about this. I don't want to research cameras. I don't want to sit here and like try to teach people how to be sexy. I don't know how to freaking be sexy. When people tell me I'm sexy, I'm like, this is okay. I'm great, you know, because I feel very awkward, and I certainly wouldn't know how to tell someone to pose to look sexy, and I would not be good at that, right? I wouldn't be this easy, fun thing for me to do, and therefore I probably wouldn't make a lot of money doing it because I wouldn't really be excited about doing it, you know.
That's like my favorite part.
I have a book called How to Make Money on Periscope. It's on my website if you want to get it. Samantha just got it the other day.
Guiding people and like helping people feel sexy and beautiful.
That's awesome. You should make a course on it. Write a book about how to be sexy. I bet people would buy that.
I don't know how to be sexy.
I think you do. I've seen some photos of you.
Oh my gosh. Stop it. I had someone telling me.
You what?
I had someone telling me how to do it.
Yeah, but now you know when you learn, right?
No.
Yeah, it's on the shop page, Hizo. It's on the shop page. I know I don't mention it a lot because it's a little bit old. So I wrote that book in the beginning of 2019.
Pictures of you. So secrets.
Call-ins weren't a thing yet, and also moderation wasn't even built into Periscope yet. So it's like there's a whole section on egg drop and stuff that's no longer really relevant or pertinent to Periscope and not necessary. So I need to revise it, and I haven't yet, so I don't really promote it. But you can get it. I mean, the 95% of the information in there is good, solid information for sure. It's not all. Oh, thank you. In my elbow. I know. Is that good? Sometimes I do it down my shirt because I feel like that's the best because it's like really contained. It's not now like on my arm. But there's been a couple times this spring allergy season where I have sneezed down my shirt and then it's literally like wet. It's disgusting. I'm like, okay, I need to stop doing that because that's horrible. But yeah, in like tech, in the tech world on Periscope with the app, I mean, a lot of developments and changes have happened just in the last year. Yeah, I think it was the beginning of last year. Now I'm thinking about it. Maybe it was actually 2018, 2 years. You do it down your shirt or in your elbow? Ew, I know.
I do it on whatever's in front of me. I'll be like, oh no, why is the switch covered in my spit now?
Yeah, you have a Switch. So are you going to play Fortnite with me or what's really good? It's a free download. That's a no. All right. Anyway, moving swiftly on. I feel like now in my life, pretty much everything is positive. So there's a few there's life has both, right? It's yin and yang. So there's negative experiences. There's sources of generalized negativity. There's certain sources in our life that are generally negative. But for the most part, every single thing else, yeah, Fortnite's free. Everything else is totally
It's really not a bad
positive.
game. I just am lazy.
Lazy for what?
I don't know. I don't feel like, so when I play Fortnite, like, so are we on a team?
We can be, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to let you down.
No, I suck. Yeah. I suck. We will lose to 10-year-olds and we will laugh hysterically the whole time.
Like, I don't like pursue people.
What do you mean pursue?
My goal is to like stay
survive
inside the circle and hide.
She's played Fortnite. She knows how to do it.
Yeah, I know how. It's not that I don't know how.
Okay, we can hide.
Yeah, I just hide.
Well, that's like when you first start playing.
Until you're at the very end. And there's only like you and one other person left.
Yeah, and then you come in second place. Yeah, that's how you always start. That's how I started. That's how Ed started. That's how you start.
And then
you hide in a bush. Yeah, I like to hide in bushes.
I have no idea how to like build things though.
No, building
I
is
played
my
a little
weakness,
bit,
too.
and I couldn't figure out
Did I
how to like
freeze?
make the stairs or whatever.
Is everything frozen right now?
I don't
Can
know.
you
Are
hear
you
me?
frozen?
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, okay, good. We're good. We're good. My screen went black for a second, but we're fine. We're here. We have one more minute. We're making it.
We're doing so good. 1 minute.
Yes, imagine if it just died and I had to go live for 1 minute. Like,
Hello.
sorry, guys. Hello. Gotta at least be able to shoot. I mean, as long as you know the button to shoot, especially if you
what
have
a pet peeve of mine is?
what?
When someone comes in and says hi to somebody but doesn't say hi to the broadcaster first.
Oh, she's calling you out, homo.
How
It's all
dare
good.
you? This isn't my scope.
It's all good. You can
You
say
see
hi to
this
her.
juice bottle?
You don't
right
know me
here?
like that.
Wherever
You
it's
don't
at?
have. You don't have to say hi to me. You
See this-
can.
See this juice container?
Just as long as you don't say like "fuck off" to me, then you should be good.
See this
If you do
juice?
say that, you'll probably get muted. Yes,
Dripping
John.
container?
Oh my god, I can have his firstborn as an apology. That doesn't seem like a good thing that I would want. I do not want a child, so you can go ahead and keep that. But
I
thank you.
definitely don't want it when it's firstborn either.
No, at all.
Like if I have to have your firstborn child,
Actually,
can I have it after
very
it turns, like, 9?
newborn babies are okay because they can't even roll over, so you can just like put them on the couch and like do your thing.
Yeah, but like,
Once they
what about
start to roll
diapers?
over, I'm sending it back. I send it back.
No, I don't want diapers.
Yeah, but newborn poo is like, it's just like breast milk. I mean,
No, it's disgusting. All of it's gross.
they're little. They don't poop that much. They don't poop out of the diaper yet. You know, as they get a little bigger, that's too much.
Did you hear me try to gasp over Brad's anger?
Yeah, I did. I kept talking over it too. As
Yeah,
well,
I was like,
So we still
You can't
have
hear it,
a lot
but
more
I breathe
questions.
really heavy.
There's a bunch more questions. We're gonna do a part 2 of this broadcast
When?
probably tomorrow because it's 11:14 and that means that it's time to play Fortnite.
When tomorrow?
I don't know. It's hard because what's tomorrow? Oh, we're gonna be at the beach most of the day. It'll be like later. It'll be around this time probably.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. It's
I just
actually
need to
10.
know.
Well, maybe where you live.
So if I want to try and be a part of it.
Can't be worse than a dog. Oh my god, dog. The worst thing about a dog is that you have to clean up its poop its whole life. Like you don't even get to stop cleaning. Like at least with a kid, like you stop cleaning up its poop around
here's
5.
the thing. A dog, if
Less?
it poops
3?
outside
4.
and you're
Mhm.
a bad person, you can
leave
leave it.
But then you know what happens? You step in it, and then it's your own
Not
problem.
if it's in the grass and I'm on the sidewalk. But also, like, you can't do that to a child. You can't be like, yeah, just shit your pants. It'll be fine. Like,
Yeah, Duo said he said the same thing. Well, you don't have to.
you don't have to pick up a dog's shit. It's not going to affect the dog whether you pick it up or not.
No,
It
but why
will
don't they
affect
bury
the
it?
child.
Because cats bury it. So I used to have a cat that was outside and inside, and he would go outside, he would dig a hole, he would pee and poop into it, and he would bury it. I was like, that's amazing. Like, why don't all animals do this?
Yeah, they should all do that.
It's way better.
Next time I get a dog.
Wait a minute, Homo. You already have a child? Or are you talking about a dog? Because
Next time I have a dog, I'm teaching it to use the toilet.
are you trying to get rid of your grown child right now? To me, he said,
How
I'm
grown
trolling.
is your child?
Dogs go back and eat it. Ew, I know. And then they lick you, and you're like, it's fine. Dog poop helps the grass. Listen,
How grown
there's
is
enough
this
things
child?
pooping. It's fine.
Is the child a boy or a girl?
No, dogs are not self-feeding. That's disgusting. This is horrible.
Self-feeding.
I know someone
What?
does need to teach Samantha not to pee in the closet. Okay, I'll put that one on the screen. That's your first one, Berto. That was your first comment that actually made it onto the screen, and it's true. Also, Samantha is me when I'm drunk.
Do you pee in the closet when you're drunk?
I did one time a couple weeks ago.
Couple weeks ago?
Yes. Okay, fine. A month and a half ago.
I am ashamed.
Me too. That's why I stopped drinking for a month, and then I
I'm
started drinking again
ashamed
last weekend.
for
But I didn't
you.
pee in any closets.
I've heard for you. How drunk were you that you peed in a closet?
That
Like
drunk.
blown?
I don't remember doing it. That drunk.
Okay, so you're like blackout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why
I'm
were you
pretty
blackout
small. It doesn't
drunk?
take that long. Because I was dared to. On Periscope, if I get $100 or 100,000 super hearts in one day, I do a dare. And one of the dares was to make a Samantha appearance. And Samantha's my drunk alter ego. And that's that
Okay,
was it.
so was the peeing in the closet a dare?
Well, no, that was just I woke up in the night. The closet and the bathroom are right next to each other.
You can't even tell me that you went into the closet and you were like, I thought I was on the toilet.
I don't know, but Ed came in. He heard it. Ed was like, he was laying in bed because it's
Oh,
attached to our room.
He,
So
like,
he was
heard you
in
piss.
bed. He said all of a sudden he heard like a waterfall of fluid, and he said I knew exactly what was happening immediately. Because I have this
so
thing.
bad.
So everybody has their drunk thing, right? So some people like cry when they get drunk. Some actually did cry a little bit earlier that night, but I got over it. It was fine. It was a short cry. And some people are like very loving and affectionate when they're drunk. Some people are angry when they're drunk. Some people probably just like fall asleep. I pee in weird places. It's happened
I'm just outrageous
multiple times.
I'm loving.
Oh, well.
I'm loving and outrageous.
Well, you can watch the replay product. I didn't hide it. And I went live in the private group and said some weird stuff that nobody wanted to hear about me. I did hide that one. Just put a bucket in your closet. Maybe for next time. You get overly sarcastic.
Yeah, or like a litter box. Maybe.
Litter box. Hizo shows his body parts. You should go to the Caliente Club. So Samantha in the Nudist Resort would be something that Ed would definitely enjoy that. But Samantha in the Nudist Resort would probably end up having sex with a random stranger, and that would not be good.
Yeah.
And but the worst part is I wouldn't even remember it. Like there's times where Ed has been like, oh yeah, we had sex last night. And I'm like, I don't remember.
I'll do a drunk scope sometime, but you have to come in if I do a drunk scope.
Okay, text me.
I will.
When you do it. You twerk till your back aches? Yeah, that's not very long for me. If I twerk for 5 seconds, my back aches.
I'll text you earlier in the day to make sure you're free that night.
Okay, but then you probably have to remind me before you go live. So
well, I will, but I'll make sure that you're free.
Perfect. I'm always free for a good drunk scope. 5 seconds.
I have Malibu in the fridge still, and I have like
that used to be my drink of choice. No, Berto.
Yeah.
No.
I like Malibu.
Hi, E-Music. All right, we go now. I love you.
I love you.
I hope to see you on the next juice. Wild Green Child wants to see you drunk. It has now been requested.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I'd do it tonight, but it's late.
It's not that late.
I mean, you're going somewhere. You're about to play
I'm going to play Fortnite and watch you get drunk on Scope.
I'm not getting drunk tonight.
Oh, check my email.
It's too late. If I got drunk, I'd have to eat first.
Yeah. That's too much work.
I was just going to go to bed.
Yeah, we'll do it. Oh my god, is it Friday night?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. People are like, we don't want to soul map on a Friday night. What the hell? Okay, I'll do game night tomorrow night, and then maybe you'll get drunk.
Oh, well, if you're doing game night tomorrow night, I can't get drunk tomorrow night.
Why? I have to go live every day, but you could still go live too.
Yeah, but like, but then how are you going to be there?
Well, we have to do it at different times.
Well, what time are you doing game night?
I thought I was going to do part 2 of this scope. Jesus.
Yeah, so what are you going to do? How are you going to do game night tomorrow night and do part 2 and see me drunk?
No, I think I'll have to do part 2 and not take guests, because I think I can get through it fast if it's just
do
me.
part 2 in like the afternoon,
night.
Like early afternoon.
But I'm going to be at the beach.
All day?
Yeah. It's far.
Like do it immediately when you get home.
Thank you for the $5, Ryan.
Don't even shower off the sand. Yeah, that's right. Be uncomfortable.
I don't want to.
Well, that's too bad.
Why can't I move?
You have limited time and so many things to do. What's more important?
The beach.
Well, I meant between the shower and scoping.
I mean, no one said anything about showering.
I'm just saying.
I don't see what you're talking about, John. I don't have an email from you.
So you're not going to rinse the sand off, is what you're saying.
Nextjuice at Gmail. Did you put a T in it? Did you put a T? Because there's no T. It's just Nex. It's short for Nexus. It means a connected group. NEX juice at gmail.com. It's exfoliating. No, that's fine. Oh, showering after the beach. Yeah, you did say that. Sorry, I was trying to check my email while carrying on a conversation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
like,
the shower is at the beach.
I mean,
you know, you just stand under it.
Yeah, but that doesn't get all the sand out. You know it doesn't.
No, it's fine. I like sand. I like being a little sandy.
You like? I like sitting around in my chair and there's just sand in my pants.
Who said anything about pants?
I love some sand in my pants.
What in the actual crap?
All right, so guys, I'll get drunk tomorrow.
Yay!
I don't know when, because Taylor
Spam.
doesn't know her schedule either.
No, it's not in my spam.
And so I can't know my drunk schedule because Taylor doesn't know her schedule.
We are scheduleless, okay? You just stay tuned, you follow us, you turn the notifications on, you'll see us.
Yeah, follow me. Turn on the notifications. Here I am.
Follow
Look.
me.
Boop. There I am.
There she is. Care to create. I don't even know what that says, but okay.
It doesn't say anything. I just tapped a bunch of buttons.
I like
Right,
plans.
Are you supposed to do emojis? Right?
Oh, do whatever you want.
There's the emojis. There's
We don't
me.
have schedules and we don't have rules.
Guys.
There we go. That's her. Fish, fish, dolphin,
Follow me.
fish. Cricket, snail, horse, eagle, pig. And then also follow Hizo because he's a pooper.
I'll have to find like a really comfortable place. Like I'll have to like set up my thing in the
Don't get too
living room.
comfortable, you'll fall asleep.
No, but I can't like sit in this chair
Like-
either. It's,
like
the worst
plans.
chair.
That is. Oh, there we go. I just got your DNA. Thank you, Don. I'll have to
I'll
check
sit on the couch and I'll like
Oh, he's-
drink and also like play
Scope.
Animal
Fortnite.
Crossing
No, play Fortnite.
while I'm drinking.
Do you have a
and
headset?
Sculpting.
Do you have a
Do I
headset?
have what?
A headset for Fortnite.
I mean, I think so, yeah.
Yes. Okay, good. Then
Because
we-
it has
we
an
shall play.
auxiliary port on the Switch, right? I've never used
I think
it.
that'll be fun, and then we can broadcast ourselves playing Fortnite together.
Because I have here, hold on. I'll show you my headset.
But I
It's
have
right
to
here.
pee. Ooh, it's pink. That's nice.
Where am I?
Ooh, nice. I like it. I like your glasses too. Ow, why
It's
is
a
my
Diva.
ear-
It's a Diva headset.
Ooh, it is divish. I like this. Okay, well maybe we'll do that tomorrow too. We have a lot of plans tomorrow, so we should probably go.
Okay, well,
How would
I'll
you play on
go to the
laptop?
Switch right now and I'll
Look up download
Fortnite
Fortnite.
so that I can
Yes.
not play well.
Download Fortnite. Yeah, the download's free. Yeah, the game is free too. The only thing you
Also,
can pay
I
for
will
in the
not
game.
be in the closet, so don't anybody come into my scope expecting that because it's not.
I'm hanging up
happening.
on you now.
Okay, bye.
I love you. Bye.
Love you, bye.
She's trolling me about being in the closet. I'm like, I'm hanging up on you now. Don't download Fortnite. No, it's free. So the only thing you can pay for in Fortnite is things that do not give you any advantage in the game. So skins, which is basically like different characters, different ways to look. You can get different pickaxes, and you can get different gliders. You can get different emotes, like different dance moves and stuff that your characters can do, but it's all just like fun, frilly stuff. It really isn't anything to do with the game. When you're free, when you're just haven't paid anything, you get what's called a default skin, which is like just a random character. And there's, I think, 6 different random default skins, and you'll just randomly be a different character every time. You don't get to pick which one you want. It's just every new round you play, you're a different person, and people will kind of troll you for being a default skin and basically pressure you to buy skin. They won't pressure you, but like you will feel, if you play it enough, you will be like, everyone's like, oh, default. But it is what it is. That's okay, Matthew. You don't have to play. So it is a really fun free game, and you can't pay for like better stuff, but you also get free, like as you level up, you get different gliders, you get different pickaxes, and you get different emotes. You get different sprays too, which is like, I don't even know what that means, but it's like spray paint things, and different loading screens. But the only thing that you never really get for free is a skin. Skins are always paid for. So if you want like a cool character, you have to pay for that. I will not buy a skin, maybe. I am a default dork. That's true. What can you buy for skins? There's literally so many different skins. You want to look some up real quick? No, I have to pee. I have to go. Okay, really, really, really quick. Let's just grab like some images. Where's like a good image? Here, I'll just show this, whatever, I don't even care. Share screen. Can you see it? I can't see what you guys are seeing. Okay, yeah, so like these are like different characters. Right, like different characters. Agent Peely, that's a popular one, the banana. Oh. Fish stick, this is a new one. The burger head. Deadpool. All right. You want a cool chick? Yeah, me too. So there's a thing called the battle pass. I think it comes out every month, which is like $10, and you get like a lot more stuff if you have the battle pass. So Ed had said that everyone in this house is getting a battle pass in the new month. Now it already is the new month, but they keep delaying an event called the Doomsday event. So it was supposed to be last weekend. They pushed it back to this weekend. Now it's supposed to be next weekend. So they keep pushing it back. But I think when they launch that, I assume that's when the new battle pass will come out. And then I think he said he was going to get that for me. So then I'll have some skins and stuff. You get V-Bucks, and you like V-Bucks is like the in-game currency to buy stuff. You do get some free V-Bucks. So like I got 100 at one point when I leveled up, and then I got another 100 at another level. But there's nothing you can buy with 200 V-Bucks. So it is what it is. All right, cool. So you guys get it? How far is the nearest closet for your peeing needs? I mean, right there. Much closer than the bathroom, but you're welcome, Berto. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning about the soul mapping exercise from my mom on her Positive Identity podcast, which is on Anchor. It's on Spotify. She said it's on a lot of different places. She didn't say specifically where, so I'm not totally sure. Probably anywhere that Anchor will put your stuff out. It's called Positive Identity. Let me share my screen one more time. The episode that we were referring to is this episode, The Landmark. Did I tweet it out before this? I don't think I did. Probably should have. I put it in my Discord group. I know. I am gonna go pee. I'm gonna go pee. I'm like smacking my feet together. That's what you're hearing. This is me trying not to pee my pants. So yeah, you can check her out there. Oh, I keep forgetting to set up my screen like this. I like it. No, not like that. Why is it like that? Oh, it's supposed to be like this. Yeah, I like it like that better. So there it is. And she's gonna be putting out a new episode soon. So go check that out. And I hope to see you guys on the next juice. Thank you for the super hearts. Angela, Chloe with the top contribution, 12,000 super hearts. You are going to get a shout out first week of July. I do shout out the top super heart contributors from every single broadcast that I do throughout the month. And I go live every single day, 7 days a week for 3 hours a day. So it's a lot of broadcasts. So definitely going to be getting a shout out to Chloe. You can check out our one from a few days ago when I shouted out everyone for June. Thank you, Shara. Thank you, John. Thank you, Gary, Randy, Mark, Pat, and Chris. We're going to the beach tomorrow, but we will have the kids, so I might not go live. I hope you guys all have a good night. Bye, Sonam. Bye, Berto. Bye, Duo. Bye, Product. Bye, Joe. Bye, Leo. Thanks for calling in and coming and hanging out with us. Bye, Marcia. Bye, Rhodey. I love you. I hope you can hear me. Did I miss? Richard Lips. Have a good night, Richard Lips. I hope you all have a great night, and I hope to see you guys on the next juice. This has been a moment in time with Taylor. Bye now, y'all. Hi, Matt. Bye, Matt. Bye, guys. Soul mapping. Check it out.